What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How goes it? Howdy does it. Bear with me, people. I'm having issues with my microphone. For whatever reason, it will not stop clicking and crackling. And I'm just going to try to fix it while we're in the show to make it tolerable. But big up to every single one of you. Hello, hello. Welcome also everyone who came from TJ's raid. Big up TJ Warren TV. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh, God. That clicking noise is annoying. But yeah, big up to every single one of you. Welcome to another installment of the Casually Chelsea show. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Smash that like so that you help us out with the YouTube algorithm, especially if you're coming here from the raid. And also be sure to check out the memberships, 4 different tiers starting at 99p. And guys, we have a lot to talk about in today's show. It was not a very slow international break. Wow. It wasn't a very slow international break for Chelsea. In fact, there was a lot going on. It was just international. No break for Chelsea. The whole entire inside of the club have been set ablaze, and there's a lot of drama going on. So I won't dilly-dally for too long. I will start off with the very first thing that I wanted to discuss, which was the FA Cup draw. So, yes, today the results came out of the FA Cup game. Leeds ends up beating West Ham on penalties. And, yeah, as a result, we get the draw, and we end up getting what I was actually nervous about getting in Leeds United, people. Here you go. Here's a tweet confirming it. Breaking FA Cup semifinal. Chelsea versus Leeds. Liam Rosenior is 0-3 versus Daniel Falk in his managerial career. 0-2 versus Leeds this season. Chelsea are. So yeah, we're getting to the semifinal of the FA Cup, people. Oliver, how do you feel about this one?
I mean, overall, I'm not really too fussed about the fact that it is Leeds. This whole Wembley shadow is hanging over us. I thought back in my mind, since 2022, we've played at Wembley 5 times and we've only won, I think, 1 time, which was Crystal Palace in the FA Cup semi-final. So our record, and if you want to go even further back than that, our record, like over the last decade, let's say, has been shambolic. So whether it was Leeds or whether it was Manchester City, the confidence levels can't be high. And then especially with the form going in and the whole situation with the manager and everything else, just the recruitment, I'm not confident at all. And that has barely anything to do with it being Leeds United or Daniel Farke.
I mean, I'll say this. I do reckon we can actually beat Leeds. But whether we actually do anything in the final is a whole different story. But it's a final. It's a final. And listen, I'm not going to count my eggs before they hatch. Obviously, we have to beat Leeds first. But I don't know. Leeds could have something for us. We could also beat Leeds. I'm relatively confident that even Rose Senior, even though I'm not a big fan of Arthur's tactics, that he knows how to beat lower side teams, and I think we can do something against Leeds. I don't know if your sentiment's the same for you.
Well, the argument against that is that he couldn't beat Leeds this season. He drew 2-2 to them. So.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Reset that mic again.
Did you hear me?
I'm sorry. No.
Okay, yeah. The argument against that is that obviously we drew 2-2 against Leeds under Rossignol, so he couldn't even get the job done in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah. Fuck. We had the lead, though, right?
I don't know. I think it was a 2. Yeah, we bottled a 2-0 lead. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a tricky one. Chat. Everyone else also discussing the game, obviously.
By the way, I just want to ask a question for chat, like, because I'm not aware. Does anyone know if Liam Rossignol has ever managed excluding the Arsenal game, has he ever managed a semi-final in a cup competition or a tournament?
I don't think he has.
Because I'm damn sure that he hasn't managed a final. So, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. We need to beat Leeds first, and we are not above losing to Leeds United. So,
no, we're not. It could happen, and if it does happen, unfortunately, I'll be here for it. I don't know if Oliver will be here for it. Oliver might be doing more important things, like a job. And I will be here analyzing the game. So I guess, do we know the date as to when this is going to happen?
I'll look now.
Yeah. Anyone in chat, if you happen to know when the game is, then by all means, let us know. 25th, you think, Waves? All right. If it's the 25th, that means... Oh, yeah, that's what I heard. That the final is going to be played either 25th or 26th. That means that our Brighton game and the Prem is going to get moved.
Oh.
Because we have City on Sunday. Then after City Sunday, we have United Saturday. So from the 12th to the 18th. Then we have essentially a week off. Because I think that week is going to be UCL football, which we're not invited to. And then the weekend after that is where the fixture should be held. So,
okay,
essentially 1, 2, 3 weeks from now. Yeah, who knows what the team will look like by then either, because that's the other aspect, like injuries, who's coming back, and all that, which we'll get to later in today's show, along with all the Enzo drama and everything else that's happening. But yeah, listen. It could have been Leeds. It could have been City. It could have been Southampton. I probably would have preferred Southampton playing this team. You never know. So, yeah, I don't know. It's better than City, I'll tell you that. It gives us at least a fighting chance. And anything could happen in the final, but I have Arthur as my manager, so I don't have that much confidence. But you never know. The team maybe steps up on the day. I know the team is capable. It's just a manager that's incapable at the moment. So, yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on the situation. Anything you want to drop, Oliver, before I head over to this part of the show?
I mean, I know my confidence is very low just in general of being at Wembley, but we would have beaten Southampton like 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. But ultimately, none of that matters unless we win the final. I'm not going to care about a semi-final win unless we hold the trophy at the end. So let's get there first.
Could you imagine if we ended up facing Southampton and it ended up being exactly like Potter? Like we lose and then Liam gets sacked.
Wow.
That would have been...
And this Southampton team's worse, by the way. This Southampton team's worse than the team Potter lost to. Much worse.
Oh my!
At least they had Ward-Prowse back then, and Walker Peters. They got no one now.
Fucking wild. So, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, it's interesting draw. I'm actually even fascinated. Even got to a semifinal, and if we do this, we can get to a final. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. We'll see what happens. Wow, this microphone clicking is so bad. I'm gonna try to fix the chat. I just gotta wait for more panels to get here so I can do it in the side or something. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is gonna be some updates on the protest, people. So, got a little bit of a protest update. Let me read up on what we're talking about here, and then we'll go from there. So, starting off with this tweet right here. Well, this is the only tweet, really. Not a project. CFC came out with an update. Breaking protest march details confirmed. Now, remember, the protest is going to be 2 Saturdays from now. So, you best fucking not turn if Chelsea decide to win 2 games back-to-back and they beat City. The turnout needs to be there, regardless of results, regardless of what happens. The ownership cannot get away with the mistakes, the continuing bad management of players and bad direction which the club seems to be heading towards, so on and so forth. So if you feel some type of way about the ownership, if you feel some type of way about how Chelsea have been run, how Chelsea have been operating as of late, don't fucking go switching sides once things start getting better. Even if we win the Premier League, I'm just entertaining a hypothetical. Even if we win the Premier League, if you feel the way you feel about everything else outside the results of Chelsea, you should be at protest. So that being said, that calling out the shills, because there are people who are little flip-flop shills out there, we'll continue on. So following discussions with the Met Police and other groups, we can now confirm the starting point and route for our protest march on April 18th ahead of the Manchester United game. The march will start from the Wolfpack Inn. From the first time 2 sets of fans under the same ownership will come together, Chelsea and Strasbourg. Against multi-club ownership and systematic destruction both clubs face at the hands of Blueco and Clear Lake. This is a peaceful march. Our voices will be heard, but this only works if it's done properly, controlled, and respectful. On the day, Chelsea and Strasbourg reps will be there to help organize things before we set off. Chants will be led, and will be aimed at Blueco and Clear Lake. You have the verified. You can edit these posts, people. No chants about players, managers, or other clubs. No distractions. One clear message, which is going to be Blueco out. Banners. We will be marching behind one large Blueco out banner. You can bring your own banners, but we encourage keeping the message focused on Blueco and Clear Lake. The march. We will walk towards Stamford Bridge, Wolfpack Inn, and finish at the Butcher's Hook, the birthplace of our beautiful football club. If you can make the starting point, you can join along the route. Once we arrive, the protest will continue. Details: meeting point, the Wolfpack Inn, end point, Butcher's Hook. Protest march begins at 18:45 hours. 18 hours, 45 minutes. What is 18 hours? That is... I'm so bad at military guys time, people. I believe that is 7:45. Am I getting that right, chat? I can't see you, chat, right now. I'm on full screen.
That's 6:45.
7:45 regular time for the people who don't go to the military and actually understand regular time. You assholes. 6. See, I was totally wrong. All right. Military time. Yeah. Listen, that's a whole different rant. I'm not going to get into it. Okay, anyways. Duration about 20 minutes. It should be longer, to be honest. It should be a lot longer. It should be for as long as you get kicked out. Before the march, we will be at the Wolfpack Inn from 17 hours, so that's 5 o'clock. If you are unsure about protesting, have questions, or just want to understand what we're doing, then come down and have a chat and a drink. Supporters will also be there. This will be potential to be an iconic moment for both clubs. I agree. We need to stand together and push back against what Blueco and Clear Lake are doing to both clubs. The future of both clubs under this ownership team is in jeopardy. A lot of details there, obviously. I think there should be a big turnout. I think you should make it known. Because listen, I'll be honest with you, Chelsea fans, listening in chat, people who are London-based, England-based, that can go to the protest. Let me tell you right now. Shortcut, subtract 12. Oh, I didn't know that. That helps. Thank you, Condurance. You're a goat. I'll say this. This is an important protest at this point. Why? Because when we get later into the show, we'll go over all of it. The criticism coming from the media as well as just the fans has been very, very loud. Very loud. All mediums, Talksport, ESPN, the Daily Mail, Times, Athletic, a lot of criticism has been held towards the ownership. Not only that, there's been reports recently as well that there's been more unrest between the ownership, between Bowley and Blueco. Rumor says that, Bowley wants to buy out Blueco shares, but Blueco don't want to sell. So it's a very messy situation. And this is like peak time to really, really, bring it home that the fan base is not happy with the way things are going on right now. So I think this is a great opportunity to not miss out, build on the momentum, and then from there, hopefully change, which I don't think is likely, but we will see. It's better to try and than to not try and say you never did. But give it a shot. See if we can get some change. If we don't get some change, we continue doing it over and over and over again. That's the point of the protest. You must protest whether good or bad. So hopefully, Not a Project CFC can organize more routine protests until things change. But I think at the climax, not the climax, but like at the, tumultuous time that we find ourselves in right now, where the ownership are getting criticized left, right, and center, I think this is an opportune time to actually take advantage of protests and have it be somewhat more effective than previous ones. Am I waffling, Oliver?
No. I mean, I think that more regularity needs to be a prerequisite, because until the transfer window proves otherwise, we have to assume that they're going to stick to their ways.
Yeah.
So you can't give them the benefit of the doubt on anything. So it has to happen. I mean, many of us have said it in this content space that it has to happen every single home game, and it shouldn't be a matter of organising it. It should become a habit. But that's up to the people that want to attend, and that's up to the organisers ultimately.
I also do see, like, based off of this tweet, I like that there's now an organization group instead of just one person trying to, get a tweet going or start a protest. And I really do hope that they can, get together and what's the word I'm looking for? At least come together on a single message and actually be consistent. No, I don't want to see, I don't know, Enzo Al or, I don't know. You name it, guys. Like, my brain's like short circuit.
Tuchel or whatever, yeah.
Tuchel or Roman chants, none of that. This just should be focused on Blueco. They are the main problem. They are the, like, none of the, and listen, I remember last time we had the protest, I was saying we should be asking for the directors to leave. And that's another thing. Well, okay. You know what? This is where I will also come full circle and say this. Oliver, I don't know if you agree, and you probably heard of it. A lot of you guys in chat fought me about it, and you probably heard about it as well. Blueco aren't going to sell anytime soon, at least. Okay? I was told multiple times everyone's bashing everyone because you didn't watch this video that Eunice and Minerals did and all this and shit. And you know what? I did my own research. And the thing is with Blueco out, the idea is great. I get it. Make the ownership aware that they're not currently welcome here. And I think that's fine. If you can force Blueco to sell, then so be it. But that's the key word, people. forcing Blue Co to sell. Because as much as you want to believe and agree, and it probably is true, Blue Co can sell before that 10-year mark, it doesn't matter if they can or can't. What matters is if they will do it or not. And there's no way to actually force them to do it other than, I don't know, actually maybe them making money or circumstance. I don't know. There's no real way to force them to do it. It's at the end of the day, it's their decision. So if you want to get riled up and all upset about they can sell. Okay, that's great. Are they going to actually sell? If they could have sold, they probably would have sold already. Like, I don't know. There's so many different circumstances at play. It's not as simple as they can sell and that's a solution. Like, okay, they can sell, but are they going to actually sell? Also, if they do sell, who is going to afford it? Yes, we have multiple billionaires out there in the country. You can say this is a cop-out all you want. But at the end of the day, remember who was interested in Chelsea when it was initially on sale. Nick Candy, the Ricketts, Catalina him. There was probably another sheikh somewhere as well. And also, if you want to get owned by Saudi owners, that's great. I agree with that to an extent. Also, don't pretend like you're not looking at Newcastle situation, who are also Saudi owned, and they're not doing so either. They don't have a director of football. They're less organized than we are, to be fair. So not all Saudi ownerships are the same either. So it's one of those situations where have a little bit of awareness that it's not a simple black and white solution. If they can sell, we have to hope there's a buyer, which I'm sure there will be. We have to hope that that buyer is actually a good buyer. And that's the other thing too. Even if there is another buyer, people, let me tell you this. There's nothing us as fans can realistically do to filter out who buys the club. I think there's a bigger entity at play that involves the government when it comes to that. So Chelsea fans also out there painting the solution that when we get rid of Blue Co, we're going to make for damn sure that the next buyer doesn't make the same mistakes. I don't think you have a say in that. I'm almost positive you don't. Oliver, am I joking? Am I waffling here? I'm pretty sure none of these fans have a say in who gets to buy the club and who doesn't.
No, the fans don't have a say. They're not. They won't be involved in the process. What I would say is I don't think it wouldn't involve the government unless it was some dubious figure that they have a sanction on. So, obviously Roman Abramovich cannot come and buy the club back because he's sanctioned by the British government, and that will get in the way of any talks. You've also got to factor in I know it's worth nothing considering some of the owners that have been let into the game based on this system, but the Premier League's what's it called, the fit and proper owners test? Are you aware of that?
No.
Oh, that well, it doesn't really matter, but basically, because that allowed the Saudi Public Investment Fund to buy Newcastle, even though they shouldn't have been anywhere near it. If we're talking on moral grounds, after that regime killing journalists, then they shouldn't have been anywhere near it. But that fit and proper owners test would not allow Abramovich. If that was in place in 2003 when Abramovich bought us, he wouldn't have been able to do it. So these measures are in place now. So there's a few different obstacles, and ultimately it just depends who's on the table.
Yeah.
Once you see the names, you then bring in, okay, so they have a thing with the government, and most people don't. Like most of these, like Nick Candy, he has nothing to do with the government, and whoever else, So I think it's more really just about who Blue Co decide to sell to, and can they get the most money? Who's the highest bidder?
I believe this is Marshall's opinion, right? Chat, even Oliver. I'm not gonna lump Oliver into this, right? I'm not gonna say this is a Casually FC opinion. This is my opinion here. I think our best route of action is if we can get Blue Co to sell. I think the best course of action is just give it to Bowley and let's see where it goes from there. Because my worry is that we could always hand it off to a worse owner. People don't want to believe it. You like, this is why I get criticized in my comment section and sometimes by my chat for being too positive. Some of you guys call me a brown envelope, and then some of you guys in recent times have been telling me I am way too negative and I've lost all objectivity. I try to be objective, and quite frankly, it gets to a point where I don't care about the comments or what you say anymore. Because at this point, there's nothing that can make you guys happy. Either I'm too in the other way or I'm too in another way. Like, I'm just gonna say the way I feel, and if you like it, you like it. If you want to discuss it, we can discuss it. I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, I'm just aware I can't make any of you guys happy, all of you guys happy with my opinions. Some of you guys are gonna disagree. And it's crazy because at the moment you could disagree with something I say, you guys bounce and leave. Find another bubble to agree with. That's not what life is about. I'm all about taking all types of opinions and forming my own. And I feel like most people should be the same way. This is what this channel's always been about. It's never been a bubble. It's never been about one side or the other. I try to find both sides, all right? And I try to be fair. And I'm not going to be overly fucking negative and give you this idea that when Blue Co leaves, the next owner is definitely going to be a positive. That's not a fact. That's not stone. So that being said, yes, I still think Blue Co should leave. I still think Blue Co have been a problem. I still think the project has been a failure up until this point. Yes, we won Club World Cup, great. Conference League, great. That's the entry level of where Chelsea should be, right? That's like just about where the standard is, right? The real standard is competing for the league, winning Champions League, winning multiple trophies season on, season out. We could win an FA Cup this season, but if that's all we win, to me, that's a failure of a season. Yeah, great. We somewhat redeemed the season, somewhat, but still a failure compared to where we should have been in the beginning of the season, which is winning that, plus challenging for the league, plus winning another trophy. You know, like, it is what it is. My point being, if Blue Co were to leave, I think give it a chance to Bowley. Give a chance to Bowley, because Bowley initially wanted to buy this club. Bowley has experience running other institutions like the Dodgers and the Lakers, and they're relatively successful. We've never really got a chance to really work under Bowley with actual structure, because at the time that Bowley came in, everyone just got up and left, probably because of things happening with Roman and stuff in the background, which we won't need to discuss. That's all speculation. I say, let's see what happens. That's my safe route. And then eventually it gets sold. But the thing is, again, Blue Co selling is something that is not up to us. It's not really, it's great that they can. It's all hopium, in my opinion. The reality of it is, if they will sell, they won't sell until there's a profit. And if they do sell, they'll sell their shares. They won't sell everything. So you'll still have Luis or other co-owners involved there. They only own 60% of the club, and they'll sell their 60%. That's the problem. There's 4 different owners with their own shares that all have to agree to sell. And you guys who have maybe worked in teams together, worked in companies together, understand that getting people all to agree to one point is not easy. So yeah, it's much more complicated than simply, yeah, Blue Co can sell, so let's get them to sell. This is a reality situation. If you don't like reality, if you don't like the facts, then I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to lie to you. So that's the best I can do. If you don't like that, then I'm sorry. This channel might not be for you. And in that case, then so be it. But that's just my sense in the situation. Yeah, Blue Co can probably sell. The reality is they probably won't. So let's hope these protests work. Let's hope these protests push the ownership in a certain direction. That change can happen, positive change. And let's consistent with it, because the only way this happens is with consistency. One protest here and there, one smaller than the other. When results are great, no protest. When results are bad, protest. It's not going to happen. Consistency through good and through bad. Win, lose, or I hate to say this, but win, lose, or draw, blue go out. It's exactly how people who are against the ownership should be thinking. Any final thoughts, Oliver, before I head into the next topic?
I mean, we're probably going to cover a bunch of the PR today, so
Oh yeah,
just don't buy into it. They know this protest is happening, and they're trying to take control of the narrative. So don't let them.
yeah. Before we start getting into the more serious matters, I do want to touch on some. I mean, I could kind of some feel good stuff. I mean, João Felix came out and had a little say on Chelsea, and it was actually relatively good. So Ben Jacobs has here some quotes from João Felix. So João Felix admits he feared for his World Cup squad when not playing at Chelsea. So his spot, I'm assuming. I loved my time there. It's a big club, but in the end, I had to do what I felt right for me. And now I'm at Al Nassr, and we're 8 games away from winning the league. Hopefully, we can win the title. Of course, the World Cup spot was on my mind at Chelsea. World Cups come around every 4 years, and I wasn't playing, but I still enjoyed my time at Chelsea. Hey, respect. I mean, I say respect in the sense of like, hey, at least you were, respectful about how you addressed it. Because to be fair, me and maybe other fans probably felt that you didn't get enough minutes or you didn't get a fair shot at Chelsea. I felt like he probably could have had a few more minutes. I still didn't think he was good enough, and it showed. But he wasn't disrespectful about it. He said he liked his time as Chelsea, and he moved on. So, hey, kudos to João Felix for, being the better person in this situation. Any thoughts on João, Oliver?
I mean, I don't know how him leaving Chelsea gives him a better chance. He's playing in a weaker league now, and his competition is Bruno Fernandez.
He gets to play though. Yeah,
I know, but his competition is Bruno Fernandez, and for all the hate people want to give him, and myself included, I'm not a massive fan of. I don't like that kind of player as a number 10, but he's clear. He's absolutely clear.
Yeah. It's
just the reality of the situation. Like João Felix is an overhyped player. He was or at the very least a failed wonder kid. I'm glad most people have come to terms with that now because he wasn't good enough for Chelsea. And nothing changes that whether he does well at Al Nassr or not.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. It was very clear. His first stint at Chelsea, I thought was decent. Obviously, getting sent off, not good. I thought he helped us out a few times with some goals and stuff. The second stint, that one stunk. I ain't gonna lie. That one stunk.
I think the nail in the coffin for him was the failed loan at Milan in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
That was the nail in the coffin. And Kunku's not doing well there either, so neither of them were good enough.
The real nail in the coffin, Oliver, was during his time at Milan when Kyle Walker comes out and says, "Pass the ball. You're not Maradona, or you're not." Ronaldo.
I think you're not Messi. It was something along those lines. It was.
Wait,
wow.
Actually, let me look up the exact quote. Actually,
I think it was Messi.
To João Felix pass. I gotta get the exact quote. Ball, you're not Messi. Some shit like that.
I think it was.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, pass the ball. No one here is Messi. Yeah, I think that's the nail that. That's the one that killed João Felix's confidence.
And look who's talking to you, bro. You're getting lectured by a washed Carl Walker, a washed Carl Walker that got kicked out as the club captain. Pep didn't want him in January, got rid of his own club captain, and now he plays for Burnley and he's going to be in the Championship next season.
What? Disrespectful.
When Kyle Walker said that, João Felix's response was probably this.
Say that. You won that debate.
Oh, no.
Nah, so, hey, listen. I don't wish ill to João Felix. Obviously, I wish him the best. It could have been something good at Chelsea, but he never lived up to the hype, like Oliver said here. And
I don't think he's the most professional guy anyway. Like with Chelsea, I think he kind of was, but the way I still have that lingering of the way he left. Well, no, not the way he left Atletico Madrid, because they sold him to us. But before that, when he had the loan to Barcelona and he was doing the kind of like sulking thing on the bench, like that was just a bit performative, wasn't it? Like
the sulking thing on the bench for Barcelona. I don't remember that actually.
No. The season started. I think this was what season? This was This was when we had Poch. This was that season,
Okay,
and they started the season at Atletico Madrid, and he was basically like not factored in because he'd just been on loan to us. Simeone didn't rate him, and he was just sulking on the bench and doing this like PR for Barcelona, and it was just like that was really unprofessional.
Yeah,
maybe he's outgrown that, but that's still a lingering thing in my mind.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of the immaturity João Felix showed was most on the pitch, at least for Chelsea. Just a lack of work rate, throwing the hands up in the air. It's not as bad as Garnacho, but he did do it, you know.
Well, what I remember from him at Chelsea, especially in the second stint, that he was a shoot first number 10, and he wasn't even that good at shooting. He wouldn't release the ball on time, if ever.
That was the biggest.
He had a nice dribble here and there, but then the end product was poor.
It's a lot of these players that want to be the hero, they want to be the star. I think that's the issue that I have with Leao, right? Like Leao wants to do everything, and look at how far Leao has fallen from his heights in that season, the Potter season. People don't want to believe it. People still say we should go and get Leao, and it's just like, you are not paying attention. You are not watching Leao game in and game out for you.
Well, no one watches Serie A, so there you go.
No one watches. Like, that's why, like, you don't hear me saying names of players I don't watch. I've seen Malik Fofana play. That's why I say Malik Fofana. Yesterday I said it. People were laughing at me. I was like, bro, you don't watch Malik Fofana. Now, admittedly, I haven't really watched that much of Lyon this season. But when I did watch Malik Fofana, there's a talented player there, a talented left winger. Want to be if Blue Co really are insistent on young players, up and coming stars, then go for Malik Fofana then. Whatever. If you don't want to go for the proven left winger, also the left wing market's poor. I'm not going for fucking Leao. You guys don't watch Leao. Leao's been shit for a long time now. So
we're well informed by our good friend the Bridge Nation. He's not very happy. He watches Serie A. Ahmed does. He's not very happy with Leao.
AC Milan.
Yeah.
Mind you, people, fun fact about me, AC Milan is my second favorite team. So, like, I actually am somewhat invested in AC Milan. I don't watch it because a certain terrorist is currently involved with the club. But that's besides the point. I do like Milan. I've liked Milan for a long time. But I'm not as invested to Milan as Chelsea. I mean, both clubs are in shambles. I'll be so real with you. So, yeah.
Say that again.
I hear all these things and I see all these names and I can just tell, like, chat, I'm sorry, I can tell when some of you guys don't actually watch ball. Like, I can tell. Just you watch your answers. You watch your answers, because just like how we read between the lines for Enzo Fernandez, I read between the lines for you guys in chat. I'm watching you. EE. I'm just kidding. I'm just calling out EE. That's the first thing that came to mind. EE probably said nothing wrong. All right. But yeah. João Felix, thank you for talking shit about Chelsea. There's already enough shit being talked about us. We don't need you to pile on. And yeah.
Let's just end it on a positive. You know, good for him. He's making his bank in Saudi Arabia. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And he might get a chance at the World Cup. So hey, wish you the best, brother. Right? Let's move on to the next, which is something just plugged in and plugged out, which may or may not have fixed my microphone. Wow. I wonder what that was. Computer problems. Okay. We'll figure that out later, chat. This is not what I meant. We're going to go for this. Okay, here we go. Maresca Speaks. Now, take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt because there's no source attached to it, which I'm not a fan of. But there are still things to learn or hear from Maresca from actual reputable sources. Let's talk about it. So, quote unquote, right? Pinch of salt here. Rumor. Apparently, this is what Enzo said recently. Nothing crazy here. But we're still in London. The kids are in school. So we decided to stay here until the end of the academic year. All of this makes perfect sense. As I told you, I'm looking forward coming back next season with a new challenge. I'll return as a head coach, not as an assistant. The comeback will be stronger. I really hope that's the case. We continue on. Manchester City. All right, Fabrizio. Listen. You can play the game of Fabrizio if you really want to. And this could be the haunted episode of Casually FC X-Style because something did unplug and plug in. I heard the noise in my ear. We've played this game, Fabrizio. We've done this, all right? We remember the Garnacho saga. Everyone wanted you to be wrong. I was willing to do damning things if you were wrong. And you weren't wrong. You were right. Unfortunately for us. Now, you're doing the same thing with Maresca. Maresca the city. And a certain Bridge Nation was telling me, I promise you, he's going to Juve. I promise you. Guys, remember, you guys cooked me about my Semenyo take, okay? I'm allowed to have a bad take here and there. And on that one, I'll admit, I had a bad take on Semenyo. But, you guys in chat, bruh, I need to start seeing you guys hold other panelists more accountable as well. Because a lot of people here get away with bad takes. Listen, I know Prime's not watching, but one day Prime will watch. You see this right here? There, let me make this bigger, okay? I'm not going to put the quotes, but I'm just going to you know what? Because I'm infamous for my little receipt stream, okay? You see that? You see that? It says Prime, not Amazon Prime. There's some quotes there, okay? Oliver, you better watch out too. I'm starting to hold everyone accountable. You guys all want to roast me.
Hey, the game is
wrong, but you guys get the fuck away with shit when you guys get things wrong. The game is the game. We're all gonna play it now. All right? I'm gonna take it to a professional level. Professional receipts holder here. So, and chat, you guys don't get away with it either. You guys don't get away with it either. But Ahmed keeps telling me Maresca is going to Juve. All I'm hearing from Fabrizio is he's going to be the next Man City guy. We're waiting to see what happens with Pep. This could be Pep's last final year and all this and that. He's waiting for the City job. He's lined up for the City job. I'm just going to tell you guys. It's Fabrizio versus Ahmed. Fabrizio Nation versus Bridge Nation. At the end, we will see who lied. We will see who lied at the end. All right, enough bantering around. Oliver, what do we think about this? I mean, I'm inclined to believe this is actually going to happen. They're really planning the contingency plan now, really.
I mean, it's an obvious link to make. Very, very obvious. And I think Maresca takes a step up after leaving Chelsea in the way that he did after winning the 2 trophies. Yeah, I think ultimately with this, I'm not sure about Pep. That's the one thing. Like, I think Maresca could succeed Pep. I don't know when that is though. And is Maresca going to wait beyond the current academic year for his children, like those quotes said there? Or is it going to be a hard cut-off in July? He's going straight for a new job, whether it's Manchester City or not. Because I honestly think that the Manchester City board and ownership would be happy to keep Pep as long as Pep is willing to stay. I think it will be Pep's call to leave. Manchester City will have a contingency plan, but they will not have any plans to actively remove him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you see Pep leaving at the end of the season? Win, lose, or draw? Well, there's
I think he will
at the end of the season, but you know what I mean.
I feel like he would. And I'd like to see this like on a neutral level. One more league title, and I kind of like what Alex Ferguson did when, funnily enough, Manchester City won the 2012 Premier League. Because he was meant to retire that in that summer, but he hadn't announced it yet. So then he was like, okay, Manchester City pipped us on the final day, so I go one more year, I get my league title, and I retire as a champion. I'm not saying Guardiola will retire, but maybe just leave Manchester City as a champion. I think that's his ambition there.
I agree. I mean, so you think there's a possibility that if he doesn't win it, he goes again until he can leave on a high, essentially?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's his that's his mentality. That's as we've all come to know him over the years. You know, he has the strongest mentality of any manager in recent memory in the Premier League, probably since Alex Ferguson himself.
A lot will depend on the 60 points deduction. Yeah, I've heard about that. Do we know when that's going to come to a conclusion?
They're not going to get a deduction.
You don't think so?
I don't.
60 points is ridiculous. 60 points is a lot. It's not ridiculous, but like it's a lot. How many points are they at right now?
If they get a deduction, it'll be single digit. The Premier League don't want to hurt Manchester City because they're a valuable
60
commodity.
Points gets them relegated. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're 61 right now. They would if this happened this season,
like
they would get relegated.
But ultimately, you can call it corrupt. You can call it whatever you want to. You can bring in the case studies of Everton and Nottingham Forest. The fact of the matter is, if Everton and Nottingham Forest got relegated because of a points deduction, it would hurt the Premier League much less than it would hurt them for Manchester City to go down for the same reason. And whether it's fair or not, that is ultimately going to be factored into the decision making by whoever's responsible for punishments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the punishment's way too steep if it does happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a punishment. Don't get me wrong. Don't misinterpret my words. All right, don't let me misinterpret myself. The punishment is going to happen. That much I can guarantee. I don't think it's gonna be 60 points though. That's insane. That's relegation, and I don't think it's like what Oliver said. I don't think that's convenient for the Premier League.
I would not be surprised if they just get the same as us but bigger. So a bigger fine and a bigger like suspended transfer ban.
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me at all because again, the Premier League don't want to hurt Chelsea as a commodity to the league and Manchester City. You know, whether or not Chelsea are any good, whether or not Manchester City have won league titles recently, which currently they're on course to go 2 years without. They're still massive brands to this product.
Yeah. So I think it will be I don't want to say harsh. Harsh I think isn't the right word because I feel like they do deserve somewhat of a harsh punishment. They didn't come out cleanly to the FA. It's 115 charges. Like the punishment should be what the punishment is. However, I don't think the punishment will be something that'll hurt both parties like Oliver alluded to. I think we will see a punishment. It will happen. I don't think it'll happen this season. It might happen next season. It could very much also sway Pep's decision, like you guys said. We will see. But I do think there is going to be a punishment. It will hurt City, but it won't hurt the Premier League. Just remember that. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be discussing our boy, Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, hold on. Just bear with me. There's a reason why we're talking about Mykhailo Mudryk, okay? The maximum punishment Mudryk could face is a 4-year ban. He has already missed 16 months, which historically precedent suggests would count as the same time, which historical precedent suggests would count as time served in any suspension. If he is found innocent, he would be free to return into action immediately. Sources say Chelsea are supporting their player, but are also planning for future within the squad, signing Alejandro Garnacho and Jimmy Gittins last summer to compete for left-wing minutes. Nothing new there, right, Oliver? We all knew this. You know, this is all relevant.
I wasn't aware that was a precedent that time served before the actual verdict would be like kind of deducted.
Yeah, because he's been out of. It'd be kind of unfair.
No, it makes sense. I just didn't know that was the process they follow.
Yeah, but Oliver, the reason I'm bringing up this is not because of Mykhailo Mudryk. He's suspended. We've known this for a long time. The fact that this is even still news is ridiculous, but we know he's gone. This is why. Mikhailo Mudryk, currently suspended after failing a doping test, received an updated contract over the past year. He has not featured for Chelsea since November 2024.
What?
Why do we know this, people? Because Chelsea reported their losses. And we found out there's a few agent fees in those losses, and one of those agent fees include Mikhailo Mudryk's agent fee. All right, here we go. This is what we got. So what we found more intriguing is in the FA's list of agent transactions, there it shows the suspended Mikhailo Mudryk as having an updated contract over the last year. He has not played for Chelsea since November 2024 due to failing a doping test. He got a new contract, I guess, or an updated contract last season. Whether the updated contract was like one that, kind of reflects his situation or gives him a promotion or whatever, we don't know, right? I'm assuming that the club isn't stupid enough to actually give him more money. It's probably re-incentivize and rehash because he got suspended. And it's probably less. But there is a fee regardless that you have to pay to the agent, regardless of what happens. Let's get into the details. So, right here, Chelsea's loss last season was the largest in English football history. Okay? Now, guys, I want you to use your critical thinking skills. I want you to understand that there is certain language that is being used to kind of make the Chelsea fan base react. We'll discuss it all afterwards. And Oliver, you might be able to help me out with this because I think you kind of understand this isn't exactly what it's being portrayed as. So let's go into it. Chelsea have confirmed they recorded the highest pre-tax loss in English football history last season, announcing a £262.4 million deficit in the accounts of Casually FC Holdings Limited, the company which houses the club's men's team. The sum differs from the $342 million loss disclosed in the UEFA report released at the end of February. But as The Athletic reported at the time, there was always a likelihood that the loss per Chelsea's accounts would differ from the disclosed from UEFA. People in the chat, why is that? I'll let you answer. Okay? European football's governing body has introduced several rule changes in recent years which seek to capture a club's true running costs and to exclude what they deem irrelevant income wherever possible. Those rules do not come into play when a club files its annual financial statements, which are instead governed by wider non-football specific accounting rules. Now, for those of you in chat who figured it out, unlimited. We wish it was unlimited. For those of you in chat who figured it out, this is because under UEFA, the selling of the women's team and the card park and all that stuff, the selling of the stadium to ourselves, none of that counts. So UEFA's number is going to be bigger than the FFP, PSR, Premier League numbers that we have. So far, so good. I'm right here, Oliver, right? So far, so good, right?
Yeah. The UEFA don't count any of that, so that would be a bigger loss.
Now, everyone's freaking out. Oh my God, the club's being run into shambles. Oh my God, they don't know what they're doing. Oh my God, we spent so much money. The club needs money. The club has no money. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Oliver, you don't believe that the club has no money, right? Here's the Bridge Nation.
No, I believe they have money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
I'll let the Bridge Nation get settled. Yeah. No, like that's what I'm saying. Like, they're... who did you take back? Wait. Oh, Mudryk. Yeah. I think some of us feel that way. Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God, I'd take back Hazard.
Yeah, true. But
Mudryk.
For those there are some people amongst us that actually believe Blue Co, Bowley, the ownership are broke, which is insane. There's no way that you can own an institution like Chelsea and get away with being broke. They would be dead. People would find them and kill them. Like, there's no way.
I'll tell you what it is. The problem people are having when they come to those conclusions, that they're conflating our sell to buy situation with UEFA. They're conflating that with us not having money. We don't have to sell to buy because we don't have money. It's not that we need to bring the money in first. It's that we are under a agreement to do so, basically.
Churchinho. This is the comment I'm getting. This is what I mean. There's comments like this that, you know what, respect Churchinho. I'm glad you're in the chat. You bring out some points that make me come out and discuss, and we have different discussions. That's fine. But there's a reason for this, right? Marshall, why do you like sugarcoating everything that tarnishes Blueco's image? Are you ready, Ahmed? I can let you in. The thing is, I'm not. I'm just trying to give you guys the truth. Because it's not all 100% negative, all right? I want to give you the truth. I'm not going to give you lies. Listen, I don't have to lie to make Blueco look bad, all right? The truth alone makes Blueco look bad, okay? I don't have to add more. So I'm not adding more to the fire. The reality of the situation is, guys, this article was made for you to react to it. And that's exactly what happened. Here's why. And mind you, yes, this is, we lost a lot of money. Yeah, it happens. But you don't, this is why I need people to use their heads. Because, Ahmed, we lost a lot of money. But what did we also do in the summer? You may or may not. You may or may not answer this wrong. But it's okay. Go ahead, Ahmed. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused as to Wagwan, because I'm a little bit confused right now.
We're talking about the whole. Remember during international break, the losses came out and people were freaking out.
Yeah, for this year, right? It was 24-25, wasn't it?
For last season, yeah.
For last season, yeah. For last season, yeah. I think again, the losses that happened for last season, a lot of it was because we made shit transfers. Okay, first and foremost, let's keep it real, guys. And we are suffering because of those transfer fees. Secondly, there's been a number of other issues, right? Which is these payments they've been having to pay off some of these guys, as well, objectively speaking, right? So there's a lot of mistakes that they have been making.
Yeah, but it doesn't paint a whole picture, right? Because we also made profit. There's losses and there's profit, and then there's net gain. There's terminology for all this stuff. So technically, the Athletic is not lying. We did make losses, but that's not all we made. It's only counting for losses.
Okay, what I'd say to that then is,
talk to me.
This is purely losses. This isn't net. Then that means the stadium and hotel and women's team sales don't come into effect at all. Because those
only come into effect for the Premier League. You can only consider it for the Premier League, but then the Premier League losses aren't affected by the sale of those assets, because like in the Premier League's rules, in the Premier League's rules, those sales are they're a surplus. They're not a deficit. So if we're looking at purely losses here, the stadium sale, no, not the stadium, the hotel sale, that whatnot doesn't matter. It's only when you look at the net or the whatever.
I also want to add into account here, that this loss is potentially going to be worse for this season. By the way, I'm just going to be a lot more objective on that. And I hope people are ready for that. Okay, a lot of the reasons as to why these losses,
people aren't ready for it.
The losses right now are already bad enough. Okay, this is why they've been trying to sell hotels, stuff like the women's team to themselves, etc., etc. Right? I just think for me, we know that these guys are gonna have even worse losses next season. Okay,
yes.
No Club World Cup money is gonna hide the fact.
Well, that's where you're wrong, actually.
Listen,
hold on.
We made, I think, something like 100 million from it, wasn't it? Isn't that something like that?
Yes.
In total, Marshall?
Yeah.
But Marshall, we have a fee already to pay to the EPL, if I'm not mistaken already, right, which is one part of it. You've now obviously got the lot of that money probably is gonna make up the loss of sponsorship money that you've had,
sure,
right, for a good period of time too, right?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of stuff that you're gonna be losing. Right, so it's gonna make up for, like, it's gonna make up for some of the stuff they lost. But we know what's gonna happen afterwards, right?
So
there's still gonna be a pre-tax loss.
Let's continue on.
But again, like I said though, like not having a sponsorship or no Club World Cup, that doesn't affect pure losses. That only affects the net surplus deficit.
So let me continue on because I want to make sure we're on the same page. Because again, I'm not an accountant. Ahmed's not an accountant. Serginho's not an accountant. Xtel's not an accountant. Some of you may be accountants, and some of you may be amateur accountants, not dealing with money at the $1 billion level, right? So how the hell is the loss going to be bigger? Because scared money don't make money. You ever heard of that one, people? There's a reason for it. Sometimes in business, you got to lose money to make money. So,
Xtel, you gotta tell him. Good, thank you.
yeah, I got a bunch of more tweets. Trust me, this was only the beginning. So, Chelsea confirmed the biggest pre-tax loss in Premier League history. Here's Ben Jacobs giving a whole breakdown, okay? So, the club's 262 million deficit from last season is over 65 million more than Man City declared in 2011. This compares to profit of 128.4 million for the season before that. So, the season before last season, we came out in profit. Net profit? Is that actually? Yeah, it must be, because that's when we sold the hotels and the women's team. I believe so. Yeah, that was. And then we rushed to get Conor Gallagher sold, and okay. So there's a bunch of stuff because of pure profit and a bunch of other things, right? We didn't have that luxury last season. In the summer of 2025, Chelsea had the highest player sales in Premier League history, and that came with significant agent fees also contributing to costs. Yet, the agent fees Chelsea pay as a percentage of any transaction are understood to be approximately the Premier League average. Chelsea bought in £490.9 million in revenue, the second highest total in their history. This was largely due to the top four finish, winning the UECL and their participation victory in Club World Cup. So yes, people, this season there will be more losses, but also we broke the Premier League transfer for revenue. A lot of people forgot this, and it's not being reflected to last season. It's going to be reflected in this season when we talk about it this time next year.
Wait. We broke the what?
We broke the Premier League record in terms of
So we
profit.
brought in the most transfer revenue out of any
sold
club in history.
more players than any other
window.
club and made the most money out of any other club in player sales. You remember, we talked about this in the summer.
Yeah, but Marsh, do you know how much that was? Do you remember how much that was? Because I generally remember how much that range was.
It's like 200 and something mil.
No, it was not.
It was 200.
I think it was
a good
half
amount.
that. I thought it was 100.
It wasn't 5 mil.
No, it was 100. It was
our net.
100. I agree, it was 100, but I thought it was around about 100, not 200. Because that's too. For me, that sounds way too much. I thought it was around about 100 million that we made. That's why I thought we were in that good region.
We'll see, because this is only the beginning. The projected profit is actually going to be almost double this amount. So let's continue on. Understand. Oh, wow. It's right here. Understand revenue for 25-26. This season, people, is projected to increase to approximately £700 million. This would mean a revenue increase of around 50% since Blueco and Bowley took over. Chelsea women posted an overall loss of 17.1 million, generated revenues totaling 21.3 million pounds. Matchday revenue increased to a record of 3 million pounds, with the average league attendance exceeding 10,000 per match. Chelsea expect to remain compliant with regulatory requirements. So, how they make that money, I'm not entirely sure. And Serginho, if you have to ask me if I'm Blueco in one more time, you are not paying attention, and I will actually ban you for the day, because this is ridiculous. Now you're just trolling. But here's the thing. This is why I don't like to lie. I just like to be objective and tell you the whole truth. Yes, it's bad that we took a loss, but we also made revenue. I want to see the net spend. What is the net spend? What is the net profit or the net loss? That's what I want to know. And that's what the Athletic isn't telling you, obviously, because they want clicks. And I'm not saying the Athletic are so, as far as I'm aware, the Athletic are pretty much Chelsea's PR machine as well. So they're supposed to kind of only paint positive light. So I don't know. This part of the story, so you guys can put the pieces together. You guys determine what you want to determine out of this. But as far as I'm aware, they're actually making profit, and the whole losses thing is way overblown. How they're making profit? Probably from the Champions League money, right? They probably this season in terms of this figure right here, is probably from Club World Cup. It's probably from Champions League. It's probably from pretty much attendance record being consistently across the board, ticket prices going up, merch sales, so on and so forth. So
they've expanded hospitality as well.
Expanded the amount of player sales that we made. We broke the record, the transfer record in terms of player sales this summer. So, like I said, if you want to come here to only hear one narrative, Casually FC is not the channel for you, because I am objective. I'm not going to lie. I don't have to lie to make Blue Co look bad. All right? I'm going to just tell you the facts as I get them, as I see them, and then you guys determine what you want to determine from that. Again, this is not an echo chamber. This is not simply Blue Co out 24/7. I like Chelsea. I want to talk about Chelsea. All right? So I'm going to talk about Chelsea and the truth. This is objective. You want objective content? This is as objective as I can get. Yes, I do have an agenda from time to time, mostly against origination. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to get at, people, is it's not everything is as bad as it seems when it comes to the profits and all that shit. Okay, let's continue on. Chelsea sold nearly £300 million worth of players this season. So on a per deal basis, it's entirely normal, of course. Chelsea have been under UEFA pressure to balance the books after their $27.6 million fine in the summer, because the sales of the women's team and the hotels didn't count towards UEFA. We know that. So the FA figures, there's Arkansas here showing the FA figures. Hold on, let me just do this. The FA figures show Chelsea have again spent the most on agent fees in the Premier League for the third year running, up from just over £60 million last year to £65 million. The rise is attributed to Chelsea conducting the highest player sales in PL history. Clubs still pay agents when selling. So obviously, as a result of selling so many goddamn players, we're up here. £65 million in agent fees, which I think is kind of nasty, but it is what it is. It's the nature of the game. Everyone pays agent fees. I don't think this is a big deal, but continue on. Sources told the BBC Sport that the reported losses include fines as well as write-offs in the accounts of high-profile players such as Raheem Sterling, who was released, and Mikhailo Mudryk, who's being investigated over failed drug tests. We got two more tweets before we call this topic a topic. Finance expert Kieran Maguire has had this to say. So Chelsea have only a 40,000 capacity stadium and are around half the size of Manchester United's size, and probably 50 to 60 million pounds behind others. Chelsea are simply behind their rivals with less to spend on players, and that will take a toll over time, which I agree. And then lastly here, Chelsea revenue rose to 490.9 million pounds, which is their second highest on record. Also, Chelsea made a positive transfer balance of 57.9 million pounds under the pressure from the UEFA regulations. Losses before tax is 262.4 million pounds, which is the Premier League record. Chelsea revenue projected to increase to approximately 700 million next season. No concern internally at falling foul of regulatory rules in any competition. So, that being said, you say you want the truth and objective, but you're softening and misinterpreting points, like people saying the owners are broke. No one with a brain is saying the owners are broke. Am I lying when I say people say that the owners are broke, Ahmed?
I think no. So I think it's the wrong wording that's been used. I think the whole idea is that, at least from what I've understood, a lot of people, or at least if you listen to what a lot of people are trying to claim, is that next season we've got like a loan that's due, right, with like 13% or something like that.
Probably.
I think that's what it was. Obviously, if I'm incorrect, please correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But like people are like, how are they going to repay that essentially, right? And so I think the general assumption, obviously, from a lot of people was, if we're making losses and stuff like that, you know, how are we going to be able to repay these loans or debts essentially, if I'm not mistaken?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
So I think people obviously saying like, listen, if we're getting these losses that are happening right now from UEFA, Euros and stuff like that, how are we then going to be able to pay off the stuff that's obviously the alleged loans that are coming in for next season, right? which is obviously, I think it's a fair question, obviously, of course, right? Because
of course.
listen, it was so well and good that we're increasing revenue, but if you're still making, if the cost is still too high, then you're still making a loss at the end.
But doesn't it make sense that, like in this business, or most businesses in general, well, in this business in particular, let's just stick with football, right? If you're making more money, then you're bound to also make more losses.
I think in football,
in the way our model works, buying and selling players.
Yes, in football, it's very rare that you make profit. I'm just going to be very objective. Right? It's like over like 95% of clubs do not make profits. Do not make a profit if I'm not mistaken, right? So for me, a club making a loss is never much of an issue to me. As long as it's like a 4 to 5 to 6, 7 million, I generally don't think there's much of an issue. Like within the 0 to 50 million range, I actually just think it's logically what's always going to happen in football. I think the issue is though, if the whole point of the football club, at least from their perspective, is that we're here to generate money. And that for it to become profitable, right? That's the whole key thing. They want it to be profitable, right? That increases the value of the club. Because they're like, look, we're running a tight ship, we're turning it around, we're making profit on it on a consistent basis. That should be able to increase your value. Obviously, there's other alternative methods to make stuff like that happen. Obviously, which we don't need to get into for this sort of stuff. But listen, either way. In a big club, that's always going to be banter. It's just about whether or not it's going to happen or not. At the very least, at least from my perspective. I just read the comment myself right now. If you want to read it first.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good thing to point out, right? It's the money that's required to be spent is gone. The owners are rich, but we're not going to get the injections. Well, yeah, probably not. Also, the massive debt with extraordinary loan rates. We probably do have a debt in there, and most debt, like it's depending on how it's handled. That's the problem. Because Ahmed brought up a good point. How do we deal with if an interest rate or a certain loan is due back next season? How do we deal with it? Plus the fines and all that stuff. Chelsea claimed that they had money set aside in case of FA Cup fines. Remember, we mentioned that in the summer. That was mentioned. If that's what the plan is, then so be it. I mean, I'm interested to see how it ends up happening and if they found a loophole or a workaround or they actually get themselves into more debt. We'll be here to report it, obviously. But yeah, that's a good question to pose. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think the problem with that quote is that I think it's very beneficial for people to like the business of sport, because the business of sport, they're like two guys that are a bit more into the actual, like they understand a bit more the sports business or just like banking in general. And the comment that they made, again, was that Bluco can just buy these guys out themselves and just get new guys that are going to buy it again. So, like, because that was something that, like, I would encourage people to actually watch that video. Because, like, when I saw that, because, like, okay, if these things are coming home to roost, right, obviously that's a problem, right? But then these guys were like, they can just get a whole bunch of new buyers to buy the stuff for them. So it's like, is it actually a big deal then if they can just do that then, right? Because then for me it's like it's no longer a big deal if they can just get new guys that will just do the job for them.
Yeah. Oliver, what do you think?
It just doesn't add up to me in a way. Like obviously I'm not an insider. I don't know anything
exactly
like details wise, but you can, the fact that you can go 2 years where beyond the halfway point of the season you don't have a front shirt sponsor.
That's the biggest
and
one,
you're somehow so far in the green. That's not adding up to me at all.
Yeah,
no other football club does that.
Yeah, which again, like just to address this one more time, and at this point, this is the last time I'm addressing it because it just feels like a troll to me. Marshall, if you claim Bluco out should be the only focus. I'm sorry. I like Chelsea too much to just be dick deep, head first into just the negativity, into just Bluco out. Like, I'm sorry. When it comes to what happens backstage of Chelsea, I genuinely don't give a shit. The only time I give a shit, and maybe I'm speaking for the panel on this, the only time I genuinely care is when it actually affects how good the team is on the pitch. The reason I care this time is because of the bad transfer policy that Blueco has led us now to a shit team on the pitch, to a bad manager now because Maresca was fed up with it, right? And Maresca wasn't even a world-class manager. He was a good manager. And unfortunately, because of how incompetent the ownership is, we have to settle for a good manager. Because if they go and choose another one, who knows? It might be worse than good. It might be mediocre. It might be a bad manager. So when I had something that was decent, I stuck with it because it's probably going to get worse if I change it. That's the point where the club left me at. So I don't care about what happens at the backstage and the back end of things. I care what happens on the pitch. Like, let's also not pretend that Roman Abramovich ran a clean shift. There's many things that came out about Roman, but I don't care about what Roman did in the background because at the end of the day, the football on the pitch was entertaining. We were winning things. Yes, towards the end, it wasn't looking that great, and I had my criticisms about Roman then. But that's when things weren't going great. Things aren't going great now. That's why I have criticism of Blueco.
What's getting lost in all this, like by a lot of people, we're football fans. We either buy a ticket or we turn on our TVs and we watch what goes on in competitive football matches. And this is like, that's all it is really. I mean, we can, obviously we're doing this show and we're looking at balance sheets and figures, but ultimately win me a league title and you can make as many losses as you want. Win me trophies.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's why I'm strongly following the viewpoint taken by Carefree Lewis. It's not necessarily that like Blueco. I think some people hate Blueco so much that even if Blueco won us a league title, there would be no support. I'm not of that perspective. If Blueco win me titles, I will shut up. It's not a unconditional. I'm disqualifying them from anything. Like, just do your job as custodians of the club, and I will back you. But until then, no.
So, and I agree with Oliver on that. I see myself as a fan that I genuinely don't care what happens in the background. I cover it because I'm obviously a content creator, right? I genuinely don't care what's happening in the background as long as the football on the pitch is doing well. And a lot of fans are like that as well. Match-going fans especially, they don't care about all this shit in the background. They don't care about... Bro, by the time we got to Crystal Palace, the fans were already cheering for Liam Rossigneur's name. They were cheering the gaffer out. So it was just like, at the end of the day, most match-going fans don't care. All right? It's us online fans. It's us some of these people who just are so obsessed with Blueco being the bad guy, and they are to an extent, right? Like, I'm not going to disagree with it. I think Blueco has overall been a bad ownership group. I do want them to leave. I do want to see what Bowley can bring to the table. That's my own opinion. And if we get another ownership, I would like to see how they change the club, and hopefully it's for a better. But at the end of the day, I just don't care. I'm going to cover it, obviously, but I'm not going to become a channel that's strictly just obsessed with Blueco out.
I think for me... when it comes to like discussion about Blueco, like, we can all want someone to leave our club, obviously, because they're not producing well, which I agree. But I would, if I could get someone better than them, of course, I think all of us here would say we want someone better than them, right? But we have to also realize, guys, what is the current situation going on around the world, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because that is going to be linked heavily to whoever we're going to bring into the football club. Okay. Secondly, wanting them to even fail is a worse outcome for us. I don't know why people do not understand that, by the way, right? Because the club, by the way, is a collateral on anything they probably have done a deal on, right? So anything they do, if the deal for them collapses and stuff like that, that is bad for us because we are going to be saddled with debt already. And remember, guys, we were lucky enough one time because our previous owner loved the club essentially, right? And he removed 1.6 billion out of the equation for us to get us to zero debt. Can you imagine another guy buying us with a level of collateral debt?
No one's doing that.
Right?
No one's doing that.
It's no one's either doing that or whoever's doing that is making sure they are putting in as least money as possible. By the way, into the transfer from that aspect.
That's another thing, and I looked into this. I can't confirm this or deny it, but if you really start thinking about it, obviously none of us have full access to the backgrounds and the ongoings of the club. That's strictly confidential stuff that anyone who claiming they have access to it, I would recommend you definitely, raise an eyebrow to it because it's a little suspicious. I'll say this. No one has. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned Roman, right? Roman forgave the debt, $2 billion in debt that the club were in, right? Here's the other thing. Roman is currently fighting the UK government to get his money back. Money related to the sale of Chelsea. Has anyone ever considered the fact that maybe until that lawsuit is settled, that the club cannot actually be sold until they can confirm, the UK government can confirm? Because if you look into the documentation or if you look into the articles, I kind of did a little research on it. I didn't do a deep dive, people, so don't take my opinion here with a pinch of salt. I'm saying it so you guys can consider this into your thoughts. Part of the sale of Chelsea and why it was so monitored is because they wanted to ensure that none of the money of the sale of Chelsea goes to Roman. So it goes through a whole rigorous filtration. People have to look into the books, make sure everything is correct and all that stuff in order to make sure no money goes to Roman. The sale of the club right now has not actually fully been done. The transaction has not been completed. Right? The money is currently sitting in a UK bank. That money is supposed to go to a charity, according to Roman. That charity could be linked to Roman. It could come back to Roman, right? There's sneaky ways to get your money, right? It's all on the guise of charity. We don't know. No one has considered that until that dispute actually gets settled, that could be preventing the sale of the club because the club has still not been sold. Technically, the transaction has not been completed. Just things to think about that no one discusses. And again, people say this, people say that, people say this. That's why I told you guys from the get-go. When this video came out about the club and stuff, yes, there's a lot of things in there that are true, but it's not as simple as, okay, cool, Bluco can sell. That's great. Even if they could sell, who's buying it? Not a cop-out, because let's be realistic, the current state of affairs in the world. Plus, on top of it, who was actually interested in buying it? And on top of it, guys, you have to understand, Bluco, it's 4 owners. All 4 have to agree to sell their shares so that the next owner can have complete ownership of the club. And it's not that simple. It's not that simple. And you got to remember who our owners are. Vale, the dictator, right? His company owns 60% of the shares. It's up to him if he wants to sell or not. And you know for damn sure, because he has people who are of interest that are invested into the project, he cannot sell until he makes a profit. So when you tell me, be realistic, when you tell me, stop being Bluco in, defending Bluco, I'm just telling you the truth. This is the realistic thing about it. They won't sell until they make a profit or it's actually beneficial for them. Even if they do sell, they don't need to sell 60%. They can sell part of their share and still do the whole Glazer thing where they're in the background making money, but someone else is the fall guy.
I think the
it's just a reality situation. I mean, I'm not lying, right?
I just think for me, just generally speaking, I just don't think they're gonna sell in the short term. I think we need to be let's look at this from an objective standpoint. They're not gonna sell in the short term. Just in general, even if you were to say in good faith that they can sell the club, right? I am just not, in terms of the current world events, it's going to be very difficult for what people I would assume would be their ideal buyers, to come into the football club and buy stuff, considering they are taking heavy financial losses due to an incoming current war in the Middle East, okay? That is hitting certain oil fields, guys, okay?
That's also true.
Right, so people's, even their own ideal guys, it's very unlikely they're going to make a move for the football club, okay? So whoever we're going to get next is just going to be another private equity firm. Now, this is not right? It's going to be most logically, Marshall. It's right. You know how many?
You don't think Nick, Catalina Kim, Ricketts,
Nick Candy
all these guys are interested before?
Listen, Nick Candy is trying to is the reform financial chair, mate. He's trying to get into government right now. Okay, he's not coming to the club.
Never mind.
Okay, yeah. The Ricketts already been blackballed once. They're not going back twice. Okay, right? Whoever's coming in, generally, Marshall, is just going to be it's going to be a private equity included with someone else, right? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a consortium plus with private equity, right? So I think for me, that's the main thing I'm trying to have, guys, right? We're probably going to get another private equity firm.
I hope you listen to what I just said, Gringo, because all this exposing they can sell, that's great.
right? That's all. I want that.
That's all it is.
Like I want. Listen again. I want people to
solution.
understand. Like I want. Listen. I want people to understand. I would ideally like them to sell, but we have to be honest. Short term wise, that's not gonna happen. Now, I again. I'm not a businessman. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm not a shares guy. I may own shares in certain companies, but doesn't mean I'm a shares guy personally. Okay, but that does not mean. But I think for me again, that aspect in general of them having maybe debts that are due, at least from what I've heard from from that podcast on the Chelsea losses from the business of sport, they were like they can just find someone, they can just re-leverage that thing again and remake that deal happen again. So that's what I'm just gonna say. From that perspective, if I once I heard that, I was like, then it's kind of like GG's low key. Because if they can find someone else to just do the deal with, or like they can just replace the guys they can pay them out and then they get new guys to pay the stuff for them for, then they can just move the thing down the buck.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
And I think this last 2 points I'm going to make on this, and then we can continue on, or if you want to add points, we can add later on. I just think, guys, if these guys were really worried, I'm gonna bring this out right now. If these guys are really worried that they could not do this thing and the dirt and stuff was coming out, I promise you, the way it was, I always use the example of Inter Milan. Inter Milan, we knew the situation was bad because it was coming out, it was being reported consistently, bro. This club, bro, we would know by now. These guys these guys love talking. They love to talk, Marshall. So they would be revealing it straight away. That's all I have to say on that one, at least.
Yeah. All right. You guys rightfully so saying this is, I think this is correct to say it. Sales have been done. The money has been paid, but the money is arrested by the government. As far as the club sale goes, it's done. You're spreading wrong information. That's why I said take it with a pinch of salt. But I am not adverse to believe that Roman and Chelsea
that sale is
ties-
done, Marshall. That Roman Chelsea thing is done, bro. It's finito. He's not contesting the club, bro. He's just contesting the money and where it's going, bro. That's the whole issue that they've been fighting over with the government. That's why the government is trying to give it just to Ukraine. He's saying he wants it for himself or to go to both Ukraine or Russia. Russian charities. That's his whole thing, Marshall.
Okay. So my whole point being is that you don't think that this current lawsuit happening in regards to the sale of Chelsea, that profit is being locked away somewhere, you think that has nothing, that is not at all stopping the club from selling?
Yes, that's nothing to do with the club anymore. That the whole issue is to do now with just the money.
I'd like to believe there's something in the background that, like, because the whole package, right, was under contract of like no money can be made to Roman.
No.
It's like a weird sale that happened at the time. That the whole contract of the sale and the terms probably need to be renegotiated because it's in a different time. That's kind of where I'm at.
No, the money's already guaranteed. It's already locked somewhere. It's in a bank already, Vault Marshall. Okay. The interest that's been mentioned, because if your money stays somewhere for a long while, they will obviously add a certain percent of interest over time. Because like obviously it's staying there, right? It needs to it will increase in value. That's the discussion that's going on there. It's just about, is the money going to Roman? Is it going to go to the charities that they mentioned? Or is the government going to be a bit physical and say we're just going to take it to Ukraine? Fuck Roman, basically. That's the whole thing in regards to that. In regards to like Gringo's comment about Ahmed, it's because PR is not being highlighted. I think for me, it wouldn't even need to come out from them. You know who it would be coming out of? It would be their shareholders who can easily release that to the media, guys. Yeah, if there was a belief that these money, if the money related stuff was not gonna be going through for them. I think a good example of that, actually, I can just give right now is that I don't know if you guys know this. Clearlake raise money, like I think it's like biannually or annually from what I've seen, right? And that gets reported on. They get told how much money they're making, how much money they've raised from their shareholders or whatever it's going to call it and stuff like that. So guys, we would know if there was any danger, like quite within one of their own shareholder phone calls, yeah, in regards to that situation occurring. I'm just being honest. Like this is me just being straight facts with you guys. There's nothing. This is not me picking a side. It is just we would know that from their own, like they have to be honest to their own shareholders. They can't lie to their shareholders, guys. They'll go to prison for that.
The thing is, Marshall, it's either they sell Serginho, right? Because you can't fool me. I can tell this is him too. It's either they sell the club or the club will go into administration because the losses keep getting worse. It's not about losses. It's about net loss or net profit. In terms of profit, the profit is also going up too. It's questionable. I would say look at it into fine detail, right? Because I think it's sus how we're making more profit than we haven't gotten a bigger stadium. So it's just like, how exactly are we making more profit outside of UCL, Club World Cup, and transfers? It just doesn't seem possible to me. But that's the numbers they're putting out there through Ben Jacobs, Kieran. Like, they're not gonna lie either. The numbers are there to be looked at. JC, if you say they're public, I don't know how to access them. I would strongly, next time we talk, we can look into it. But
TA, just quickly on TA's point quickly. Roman cannot sue. Just quickly on the Roman suing, he can't sue because he agreed to the sale at the time. He was in agreement to sell to these guys. That was so he cannot sue them for selling Chelsea below market value, stuff like that, because he agreed to that sale happening. The issue right now of Roman, as I just want to repeat again, is to where the money is going. Is it going to him, or is it going to the agreed upon charities they had in the initial deal? That's what the whole thing is with Roman at the very least.
That's what I'm getting at, people. Like, it's not all black and white. There's a lot of more details that go into it, and that's why, like, listen, we joke about it. I don't like Blueco. I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me to give Blueco any chance, because before Maresca got sacked, I was just get the directors out. You know what? Just get the directors out. The project looked like it could be done properly because of what we won last season. This season, they fumbled it. I want the directors gone. Once Maresca left, that's when I said, you know what? This isn't working anymore. This isn't what you promised us. Blueco out, right? So the thing is, as much as I don't like Blueco, I'm not going to let my dislike of Blueco be so strong to blind me from the actual facts. I'm not going to just lie and tell you things that you like because it supports Blueco out. I'm going to tell you the facts, what they're doing right, and what they're doing wrong. And in terms of this whole losses thing, that we're in debt, that we're in financial crisis, we broke the Premier League record, it's not true. We're also making profit. Now, whether the profit is more than the losses, time will tell. We will see when the numbers come out. We'll be more clear on it, and there'll be more facts that we can all base it off and do our research. I'm not denying the things that were said in previous videos that we just discussed on here, right? Streams or whatever with Blueco and minerals and Eunice. There's a lot of truths in there. And the big truth everyone keeps saying, Blueco can sell. That's great. Me and Ahmed have talked about it multiple times on here that, okay, maybe they can sell. Even if they can sell, when are they going to sell? It's not about knowing if they can sell or not. That's always been up in the air, whether they can sell or not. It's about them actually doing it. If there's an expose video saying that they will actually do it and this is how to force it, bro, let's all cheer for it, because I would like Blueco to leave too. I would like other ownership. I would like to see if Bully can take over, really. And I did see, where is it? Right here. I don't know what I did, Coco. I don't know what race I called out. Maybe.
I just think Marshall. Like,
Igbali.
do you guys really think they're just gonna sell the club for a break even? Like, like,
no, they do. That's why, that video, people said they can sell. They should sell now. It's in their best interest. No, they're not going to sell now. It's not in their best interest. They're not in a rush.
Who are they going to sell to right now? That's going to be in their best interest right now. Remember, I think
that's a cop out, Ahmed. You can't say that. That's a cop out.
No. But it's not even a cop out. It's just logical, guys. Like, I think it was like 3.5 billion. I think was what currently Chelsea's worth. I don't know how much. I think they brought us for, what was it, like 2. It was like 2.25 plus 1.75, so it's like around about 4 billion. They're not gonna sell us for a 0.5 billion loss, guys. It's no way that's gonna happen. Okay, what are we doing? Like, what are we like? This is why I'm like, yeah, guys. Sometimes, bro, we need to be honest. Yeah, there is no way we're selling a Premier League football club for a loss. Do you know how detrimental that looks for the, not alone us as a football club, but for the Premier League, that one of the top 6 clubs got sold for a loss? I don't think people understand that, by the way. Like, there's no way that's gonna happen. Like, again, if they sell us for a loss, or if the club gets repossessed, we are repossessed with leverage of debt, guys. Okay, that means, yeah, there's gonna be a few years where we're gonna be doing more kids again. Pause. Okay, generally, Marshall, we're gonna be doing more kids model. Why are we?
McQueen, come on, step up,
McQueen Nation. But,
step up, McQueen. Step up, Shimueka.
Like, that's what's gonna happen, by the way. And like, listen, are people gonna be happy to do that? You know, we can hate so much, yeah. That Felix fucking selling, bro. the situation can always get worse.
It could. That's why like this one is coming right here. You see
No,
the
no.
blue. I think
Watch,
Bones
look at the
been
last
trying
comment.
to for a
Look
while.
at the last comment. Look at the last comment. Yeah, Ahmed, they're not the one after that. Ahmed, they're not going. They're not going. Mad profit with the way it's going. What quick are you smoking? I understand that, but that's why it's not going to happen in the short term, lads. That's what you're not getting.
Yeah. No, this thing with everything, with all this stuff, it's all a long. This is a long game. This is all a long game. Right now,
Yes.
look, it's not looking good right now. That's what, let's be honest. I'm just saying it honestly. It's not looking good right now. I'm gonna say it right now. It doesn't look good. Obviously, the media, the press doesn't help.
Guys, if I am Marshall, am I a happy clapper, bro? Can we just
No,
we
you're
need
not
to
a
address
happy
this,
clapper.
bro?
You're not a happy clapper.
Bro,
You have been calling them out for a while, and you said Americans are ruining the sport for a long time. so you're not a happy clapper.
Marshall calls me
I fought you on
xenophobic.
this so many times.
Marshall calls me xenophobic because I used to always say the moment I used to hear private
said it
equity and
jokingly.
Americans, yes, but not like I say this all the time. I used to always say, listen, Americans ruin the sport whenever they come into the sport, and that's what's happened to my football club. But like again, I'm not saying they cannot sell, but we need to realize, guys, they're not selling for break even. Can we stop doing this gimmick?
Also,
I agree, Gringo is right, by the way. Gringo is right. I know that Don Textor stuff. Don Textor, though, is a one-man guy. He was leveraging money from banks, from private equity firms himself. He was doing the whole thing by himself. That's the key difference. Blueco is, what's it called? What's it, not Blueco. What's his name again? I just literally forgot his name. Igbali and Feliciano, they actually own the private equity firm, guys. They're the head of the private equity firm. That is the key difference between them and John Textor. Okay? They own the private equity firm. They do the business in the private equity firm. That's the main thing.
Also, there is absolutely zero. This is a fact. There is zero chance Roman is buying back Chelsea. Anyone who thinks that,
They're never letting
Jeremy,
a Russian own a club.
Sorry to
Let's just
shatter
keep it
your
real.
dreams.
They're
the UK
not
government is
selling.
not going to allow it. They will not allow it. They will not sanction the sale. They won't.
Yeah.
It's done. Ahmed, to know that, you can look at the financial statements, debt to revenue ratio, debt to asset ratio, cash flow statements. We are not insolvent, but financially, Chelsea are worse off than it was after Roman wrote off the 1 billion debt.
Oh, yes, that's objectively true. You guys already know. I've said we're bad financially. I was just disagreeing with Marshall right now about. I'm telling you, the upcoming this season's financial report, I promise you, is going to be worse than what we got right now. I'm just going to be. I am very serious when I say it is probably going to be worse than what we got right now, because I thought the Club World Cup money got accounted for this season. It
Only
got
part of
accounted only, so that means half of that money is already been, or like at least a good like 45 or 50%.
The big portion of it is going to be seen next year when these numbers come out.
It's-
That's the
maybe-
final and the semi.
Okay, well, I don't know how much we got. How much did we get from the final semi together?
Because
50?
the cutoff is like that June 10th date. That's the cutoff. Like we were partially in Club World Cup. So only part of the Club World Cup, the beginning phase of the Club World Cup, I think until the quarters, counts towards the numbers that we just saw. And then next season, the rest of the numbers swap up. Which is why we're probably getting that £700 million revenue that's being said. Right? And that's going to be then the losses and the revenue. You do it together, then you get the net profit. So
Yeah, so listen, in general, I'm just letting you guys know, the block is not going to be good for us next season. We're going to be here somewhere next season, me and Marshall, probably in the same rooms, discussing how bad the finances are looking right now again. Okay?
And I hope I
Secondly,
still see Chirino. I still see all these people in the chat so that you guys can then stand for your sins.
yeah.
So you guys can then defend the points
secondly-
that you kept saying this season and tell me, okay, so what happened? Last season you told me they were going to sell. Now what?
And secondly, you know, Ahmed, can you bring up
I know
Abu's
you guys
comment that
didn't
you
say
just-
they were going to sell, but you know what I'm saying.
Can you just go Abu's comment on those before that you just removed? Ahmed, so your logic is just let them do whatever they want and not say anything and be happy clapper. Are you a cock or something?
Damn.
Let's just break it down, Marshall.
Damn.
Marshall, you went to the last protest. Did I not go to the last protest?
Yeah, you went there.
I
I
was
missed it
at
by
the-
a few days, but yeah.
I
you
know,
went.
obviously, you unfortunately weren't able to come because you were enjoying your time. Fair enough. But I went to the actual protest, guys. Okay, so you cannot tell me that I'm not doing.
Abu,
I'm
did you
not-
go to the protest?
Like, I'm actually going to these places and actually trying to make a point at that point.
Yeah, Ahmed is local. We've gone over this. Ahmed's like actually a local fan. He's not a season ticket holder because he's a fraud, but he's a local fan.
The line is too long, bro. There's too many people that want the ticket.
Genuinely, he can't control it. Otherwise, he wouldn't.
Yeah. But like I have gone to protests before. I've advocated for the protest. I've even said a lot of stuff on this channel on the Bridge Nation. You can just even check it out. Well, I've actually been quite saying, listen, we should at least pressure them to at least buy some of these players at the very least, right? If they're not going to sell, we should look for the second best option to make stuff happen. That's what I've always said at the end of the day, right? So for me, I think it's a bit unfair for you to say that to me. I'm just trying to come out from the objective, guys. We are not going to be sold to break even. They're just not going to sell. They're just not going to sell. They're not going to sell right now. That's all it is, guys.
Ah, well, you're full of shit, bro. This guy's full of shit.
And you can't take them out. Guys, they're from the US. They're not even local. What are we doing up here, bro? No, that's shameless. That's shameless, bro.
You know what? Ahmed, you claimed that you saw Win Stanley and Stewart walking out the club. you couldn't do anything then?
But
my days.
I just think for me generally, we'll see what happens. I just think, listen, I'm just generally talking about stuff is, guys, listen, of course all of us here want stuff to change. I just think we need to be realistic in what change is going to come up and what is going to happen. I think them selling is not going to happen. But I think what's more likely going to happen is that there probably has to be a change in transfer policy. That is probably what we got to have to push for. Okay, because if these losses are happening, it seems the players themselves are also making stuff about it. So clearly, there's gonna be what we want is that pushes them to have a major change in transfer policy to bring in good and top players that we need for the squad.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
That's the best we can hope for now. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, guys, like I said, I want what's best for the club. If that means Blueco has to leave, I'm all for it. And I agree. I think Blueco... my personal opinion, this is just my own opinion, right? Like I said earlier, Ahmed, you weren't here for it. I'd rather just have Clear Lake leave and see what Boley can do as majority shareholder, because he owns the Dodgers, Lakers, both successful clubs. He seems to be ambitious when it comes to that club. So I want to give him a fair shot at ownership, because there's the fear of the unknown factor of if Blueco were to sell their 60 or Clear Lake were to sell their 60% share, or if they even get all the shareholders to sell 100% of the club to another owner, there's a fear of the unknown that if the owner is actually going to be, the new owner is going to be better than what we have now or worse. So it's just one of those it's just one of those situations of, that's what I would take. I want to see what Boley could do before I decide to make another decision. And
firstly,
listen, at the end of the day, I do want Blueco out. I'm just not going to obsess and dribble over it, because there's so much about Chelsea that I care more about than the actual sale of the club. Like, I'm not... Sorry, it's just not what this channel's about.
A few things first.
I'm going to tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear.
I am a real demon. I just don't... Listen, I also realize that, I don't want to be in prison for life as well. So, we have to obviously do like a natural balance, okay? We live in a surveillance state in London, bro. Everyone's got a camera. I ain't escaping anytime soon. This is
scroll behind you fell.
I know, I saw.
It's cursed.
See?
It's cursed.
That's it. So, no, listen, secondly, I've said before, I hope we go on a losing... I hope we can obviously not make Europe.
Can you show me this list, please? I want to see this list.
Listen, I hope we don't make Europe. As I said many times before to everyone, I don't want us to make Europe objectively, because I do think getting into Europe is going to be a much bigger problem. That's why I've always said to many of you guys before, we need them to bleed, right? And in that sense, that means no Europe has to happen, because then we need to also make them feel the pain of having no Europe because of their own mistakes and errors that they've made, essentially.
Let me see this. Minerals thinks the owners have ran out of PR. I do think to an extent that's true, but the guy doesn't realize that he will be Blueco out for a couple more years after they switch director of football this summer. Probably the case. Just put a monocle and top hat on. There you go. Then you can get away with anything.
Yeah, man.
Let's continue on to other stories, because we are going to talk about the players.
Final comment.
Go for it.
EPL Taft's comment, because EPL Taft and I agree on this, and he's spitting facts on this. If you want to read that. Bluco
don't care about anyone wanting them out. They are business. They are here to make money. We can only pray to get some fluke good signings. I mean, that's what I've been saying for a while. People don't like
That's
to
what
hear
you said.
EPL
That's what you
turf.
said, yeah.
You especially, because you call me out all the time, right? But I've been saying this, like, listen, I feel, when I get like this, I get a little angry because I feel vexed because when someone else fucking says it, everyone fucking gulps it up.
Shout out to my boy EPL Tough. EPL Tough is always
Don't shout out to your boy EPL. Sure, shout out to me because I said what last week, guys. Technically, it's not all doom and gloom at Chelsea. We could stumble upon good transfers this summer, and then we're back. But no one wants to hear it. That's what I'm saying. You fluke good signings. They might fluke good signings. But it is what it is. Am I saying that's gonna happen? No, but it's not impossible. The possibility is there. If it wasn't there, I wouldn't have even mentioned it. But they could fluke good signings, and that's why I told Scott a while ago. Like, we could fluke winning the league because they actually could sign good players. Like, it's a possibility. Thank you, Curry. You were there. I said this.
You said this obviously, but I still kind of disagree with this. I don't think
that's
they'll
fine.
fluke. I don't think. Listen, you can fluke
It's
a
hard to
signing.
really fluke.
You can fluke a signing, Marshall. No, I agree. You can fluke a signing. Cole Palmer's a great
EPL
example.
win,
Yeah, Cole Palmer's a great
I know.
example of like fluking a signing. But can you fluke a good signing throughout which is going to be a couple of signings if you want to win? If you want to win the EPL. I don't think so. That's what I disagree with you, in my personal opinion.
You happy clapper cuck. You think you're really going to make good signings. No, that's not what I said. I didn't say I think we're going to make good signing. I say we could fluke our way into good signings. But you know what? Since you called me a cuck, enjoy being a cuck without access to the chat. 24-hour ban. Hold that, bitch. Hold that. That's what you get. You can call Ahmed a cuck. You can't call me a cuck. No, I'm just kidding. You can't call Ahmed a cook either. Anyways, let's continue on, people. As we move on to Moises. Moises had a few things to say. And as far as Moises had to say, it was pretty much he's committed to Chelsea. So let's get into it real quick. I want to do a little contrast here because Enzo, on the other hand, handled this a little bit more difficultly. Let's just say that for now. Moises Caicedo on Chelsea's struggle under Rosinha. It's a bit difficult because we were used to Maresca's style. The adaptation has taken us a little while, but in the end, it's just a matter of time to get used to something new. Sometimes you adapt faster, and other times it takes a little longer. Then this happened. There's an interview that happened with Moises Caicedo. He gets asked the following. You said a couple of days ago you want to become a Chelsea legend, but we're just 500 meters from the Bernabeu, the home of one of your idols. You can picture yourself in white, one of the idols being Makelele. Makelele played for Real Madrid. He's the idolized Makelele. Caicedo said, in football, you never know, do you? Right now, I'm under contract at Chelsea. Honestly, I haven't really thought about another club or leaving London, but in football, you never know. All I want to do is enjoy. I got a contract, and I want to continue playing until God allows me. After that, we'll see what happens. I have a contract, but we'll see what happens in the future. Let's see what surprises await us. Right now, you are one of Chelsea's biggest idols. Yes, Chelsea's a great club. They've helped me a lot since I arrived. I want to repay them to show in every match for as long as I can be there, and well, time will tell. That's a much better response to what Enzo had to say, which we'll go over right now in a little bit. But yeah, Moises Caicedo basically committing himself to the project. I'm sure some of you would like to call him a cuck to support Bluco. Sure, go ahead and do so. It is what it is. I genuinely don't care. But yeah, Moises Caicedo pretty much solidifying that he wants to stay at Chelsea. He's being respectful about how he's answering this question. I know a lot of people, this is why I say, people, you gotta be balanced in this, right? You try to be objective, doom and gloom and all this stuff. Everyone's saying if we don't make UCL, all the players are going to want to leave and all that stuff. We know realistically, not every player is going to want to leave. Not every player is driven by UCL. Yes, the majority of them are driven by UCL, but not every player is driven by success, winning UCLs, winning greatest. Yes, the majority are. Some players just want to play for Chelsea because they're fans of Chelsea. And I think Moises is kind of in that category. I'm not going to lie. Yes, he's aspiring to UCL and all that stuff, but I think for him, he's just a fan of Chelsea. He wants to play for Chelsea. And sometimes the fandom does blind you from the stuff that's happening upstairs. And as players, these players are more focused on playing game in, game out, They're not really focused on the political side of things. You know, I feel bad for Moises to an extent. I would like to see him go to another club and succeed because I don't think it's going to happen at this club unless we fluke it. But I'm happy that he's willing to be loyal to the club. I'm happy that he's willing to stay and try to find success here. I don't know how long that patience will last. I hope it lasts a while. And maybe he'll go to another club and I'll support him then too. But as far as I'm aware, it's not all doom and gloom. Even if we don't make UCL, I don't see Moises forcing a move. I don't see Moises leaving. I don't see that many players leaving either. Like, some players genuinely just do want to be here, not because of the ownership, just because it's Chelsea and it's because it's London. London is very attractive to a lot of people. So Moises pretty much coming out and admitting it, like, yeah, I haven't thought about leaving at all. Like, I'm here until I'm here. I hope I can live up to the expectation, live up to the you know, people idolize me. That's what I'm here to do. And that's a much more respectful way to answer it. So big up on Moises. I'm about to move on. I don't know if you're there, but do you want to say anything or shall I move on? I don't know if he's there. That's the thing.
We need to get the shinky cut out.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's what he had to say. So we move on. We move on. But yeah, big up to Moises for being professional and not flirting with other clubs. We'll get to the one who's flirting with other clubs in a little bit. The next topic I wanted to bring up, people, is a little bit of post-match stuff. So we talked about the match yesterday. Just some good things, quick little recap. There's a little bit of positivity, people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Allergic to positivity when Blue Co's the ownership? God forbid there's anything positive that comes out. Blue Co is only negative. Not necessarily, okay? There's still some good things happening at Chelsea. I'm going to just say them. Don't call me an optimistic merchant, please. I'm just fucking saying shit, okay? Balancing things out. Esteval, 18 years old, 345 days. It's a little too specific for me, but whatever. Chelsea's Esteval is the youngest player to both score and assist in the FA Cup for the Premier League side since Bukayo Saka for Arsenal against Bournemouth in January 2020. So, big up to Esteval, making some record books. This guy is a wonder kid. Absolutely wonder kid. Chelsea have used most academy players in the Premier League season, in the Premier League this season, according to BBC Sports. So, good to see. We're relying on academy graduates more than, well, actually, that's not necessarily a good thing to see, but it's good to see we're not neglecting them. Is kind of what I'm trying to get at, right? So we are, you know, yesterday we saw this player make his debut. Multiple sources have suggested Chelsea have worked hard to keep Ryan Kavuma McQueen, effectively preventing another major academy loss like Rio Nagamoa, moved to Liverpool in 2024 and secured his first professional deal in January. So big up on McQueen. Like I said, I was happy that he made his debut. We saw, who was the other midfielder that played under Maresca? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Not Shimueka. It wasn't, oh my God, I can't remember. Chat. Walsh also made his debut this season as well. Yeah, there's a few players that have actually made debuts for Chelsea in the last 2 years, including Achimpong, including George, so on and so forth. But yeah, Reggie Walsh made his debut and stuff as well this season, I believe. As at least first start, I believe. So it was good to see that our academy players are getting a chance. Now, I do have my criticism as to why some of them aren't getting more chances than others, but that's besides the point. Let's talk about Liam. Arthur, our best friend here. Liam Sr. on summer plans. Bring in players with emotional stability. Wow. Kind of a jab at the whole red card situation, but that's fine. Different characters who can, in difficult moments, understand what is needed to win. Okay. I have criticism, but I will sustain for now. Liam Sr., I have made this very clear. There is not a rift in the dressing room. We are together. Every club goes through difficult moments. I hope you're right, Liam. I hope you're right. My disappointment in Mark's interview was where it went to. Chelsea boss Liam Sr. says he wants the players to be able to speak openly and honestly for the benefit of the club following the comments in the media from Mark Cucurella. Let me see if I can get this audio to play so you guys can hear it. Give me 2 seconds to just adjust this because I do want to share this because obviously the quote's not there. So let me, Chrome tab. Here we go. Boom. Let's listen to what Liam had to say.
Fantastic conversation with Mark yesterday. Half an hour in my office. The disappointing thing for me, what we're trying to create here in my time, I've only been here for coming up to 3 months. I can't speak. I'm enjoying it, even the difficult moments. I want players, I've said to them from day one, if they've got any issue with how we do things, to come and speak to me and speak to the sporting directors. My disappointment in Mark's interview is where it went to. I think he should have spoken to us first about the things that he's feeling. I want players to feel like they can speak openly and honestly for the benefit of the football club. And those conversations we've had with Reece James, that's why Reece has signed a new contract, because he believes in where we're going. And as a football club, we know we need to improve, myself included, and we actually know what we're going to do in the summer to achieve those objectives.
Just finally on that, why do you think that Mark doesn't feel that he can speak to you or one of your maybe many sporting directors? Do you think that he's just unaware of where the kind of power lies within all of this?
Everybody knows Mark Cucurella, knows his character. He's a great character. He's passionate. He wants to do well. I think for him, he did an interview, a long interview, where he spoke with passion. He spoke his mind. Yesterday, while I was in the office with him for half an hour, was to remind him, you can come and speak to me. You can be honest with me, and you can be honest with the club about what you want. But that takes time. I've been here for 2.5 months. We've played 20 games. So to build those relationships and those connections takes time. But Mark is fully committed. He wants to be here. He's made that very, very clear to me. And he actually believes in where we're moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what he had to say in regards to Cuckoo. I mean, I don't think Cuckoo isn't fully committed. I think Enzo is 1 foot out the door. I'll be so real with you. We'll get to Enzo next, actually. Or actually Cuckoo, then Enzo. But yeah, so in regards to the comments on Cucurella, he had that to say. I do think Cucurella is committed to the project, but he had his opinions that he had to say, which he made very loud and clear. We'll go over that next. But we're senior. My record in the Premier League since I joined the club, we are 4th in the league. He said that, a while ago. And then he said this: there is noise around the football club that we are in crisis, that I am out of my depth, and I talk nonsense. I know all that noise. So he's listening. He's hearing the criticism, and he's feeling it, I'm sure. But yeah, in terms of Liam, the post-match, a few comments that were said. We're going to get into the whole, Enzo thing as well. He talked about that. We'll get to that. But, yeah, just some good things to talk about Port Vale. I don't know if you want to add anything, Ahmed, or if you want to get straight into the Cucurella stuff.
I mean, what is there to say about Cucurella?
All right, well, let's get into Cucurella stuff. Let's get into it then. All right, so Cucurella spoke out. We haven't talked about it. Obviously, you guys who don't live under a rock know about it. But if you don't, Cucurella said some pretty nasty things, and we'll see. Now, we talked about this yesterday briefly, Ahmed. I feel like Cuckoo, what he said was more egregious than Enzo, but I do know Enzo is 1 foot out the door and Cuckoo is not necessarily there. So, in terms of Cucurella, he said this during the international break. You always think about coming back to Spain. I'm happy here at Chelsea, and so is my family. I'll leave it in a few years from now. Then he was asked in a separate interview, or maybe the same interview. I think it was a separate interview. He was asked if he would be interested in coming back to the Liga. Cucurella had this to say. You always think about coming back. I'm very happy at... Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah. I'm very happy at London and Chelsea. So is my family. I'll leave it to them in a few years. But then he was asked, but what if Barca calls? He had this to say. It's clear that if those situations arose, they're difficult to recuse or refuse, I think is what he meant to write. I'd have to consider it and talk to my family. I'm not thinking about that right now. If it happens, we will see what decisions we have to make. Cucurella, flirting. But that's not exactly where it stops. It keeps going. So he did an interview with The Athletic. There's a few things that came out of it. For one, this one, just to get this out of the way. Chelsea have had to look for new ways to stay focused and united. One of those have been their new infamous pre-match huddle in the center circle. Mark Cucurella says it was an idea from the backroom staff intended to project, hey, Wisa, it was his idea. Willie Issa, that guy. It was his idea, I bet. Diaz from the backroom staff intended to project the idea of a strong team. The Spain international wasn't happy with the referee Paul Tierney, who showed up uninvited. Intended to project the idea of a strong team. How about you just be a strong team? That's as simple as that. So we continue on. Chelsea's recent form, let me actually make this a bigger screen. Hold on so I can read it directly here. All right. Chelsea's recent form has been difficult for Marco Cucurella to process. Getting outclassed at PSG really stung. In the Spain international's eye, the 8-10 aggregate defeat highlighted the shortcomings in the Chelsea project under Blueco, who have invested heavily in young talent since taking over the club in 2022 of May. For a lot of players, it was the first time playing a match of that caliber, and we paid the price. He said this in the image as well, too, that you see here. He said, quote unquote, I understand that this is part of the club's policy that they want to take this direction, signing young players, looking for the future, unquote, quote again. But for all of us who are still here and want to win big things, moments like this, the 8-2 aggregate loss against PSG in the Champions League, make you feel discouraged. I agree, 100%. Us as fans were very discouraged after that loss. I myself included. I felt like we were done. I felt we were done after Arsenal, and then I calmed down. But that was like kind of the nail in the coffin for me. He said this as well about Liam. Liam is a very good person. He's managed the group and personalities really well. He likes to stay close to us. His football ideas are good, but we don't have time to implement them. In the end, that explains the instability at the club. We had an interim coach, then a new manager with new ideas, but no time to work on them. Oops, I went to the wrong thing. Cucurella had this is the bombshell that blew up everything. So the moment Maresca left, it had a big impact on us. These are decisions taken by the club. If you asked me, I would not have made this decision to make the change like that. The best thing is to wait until the end of the season. I think Ahmed and me can agree. I was saying this as well. I understand this is part of the club's policy. Actually, no, Ahmed and me don't agree. Ahmed wanted Maresca out. That's the point. So I understand this is part of the club's policy and that they want to take this direction, signing young players looking for the future. But for all of us who are still here and want to win big things, moments like this make us feel discouraged. We have a good core of players. The foundations are there, but to fight for major trophies such as the Premier League and the Champions League, you need more. Signing young players only might complicate achieving those goals. Big Bamba from Cucurella, but let's be honest, guys. He's only saying what us as fans have been saying for a while. So he's regurgitating what the fan base are saying. I agree with Cucurella, 100%. The only thing is that, unfortunately, this looks like... what's the word I'm looking for when you're the regime, the leader of a regime, and one person speaks out about your regime? There's a certain name against it. This is like him fighting against the Vale regime, right? They're fighting words in a sense. Criticism of the ownership. Guys, with this one, Ahmed's finally, he called it. Cucurella, you're gone in the summer. I think Cucurella's gone this summer. They haven't made a big of a deal like they did against Enzo, but that's also because Cucurella didn't cost as much as Enzo did. Should Chelsea have put more faith in Enzo Maresca like Arsenal did with Mikel Arteta? It's something Marc Cucurella has considered. With Enzo Maresca in charge, we were more stable because we worked together for, abs, and some of you Maresca haters in the chat, you're not going to like this one. So with Enzo Maresca in charge, we were more stable because we worked together for 18 months. If you look at our first preseason with him, Chelsea won only 1 in 6 warm-up friendlies, losing 3. Yeah, we looked horrible in that preseason. There were doubts. You need a process for every player to understand what we need to do. In our last months with Maresca, we played almost by heart. If we changed the system, we knew what we had to do. You need that time. Look at Arsenal now, who are fighting for every trophy. They've been with Arteta for almost 7 years, and they have not won much. But that trust in the project gives rewards. And let's be honest, when you start, the thing is with Mr. Arteta, right? He hasn't done much to deserve time. At Chelsea, we're very much adamant and advocates of you don't just get time at Chelsea, you have to earn it. And I would say Maresca, hitting his goals, being the only manager in this regime to hit his goal, earned himself that time. And as a result of earning that trophies, winning those moments, you build a camaraderie in the team, and they started to believe. It's very true. That's exactly what happened. Today, with the Athletic interview, Marc Cucurella sent an important message to Chelsea. Strong message from one of the leaders of the dressing room and one of the faces of the project. Tense situation in the media. He wants to send the best possible message to the clubs and the fans, according to Fabrizio. Max PYS had this to say as well, who has insider information. Understand many Chelsea squad members agree with Marco Cucurella's comments about the recruitment strategy. Reece James is understood to have sought out assurances during contract talks around future plans, with both James and Rosinha feedbacking the need for more mature and experienced players who can help during setbacks on and off the pitch. Sources have also said that he and others much less impressed with Enzo Fernandez, with some taking his comments as a sign of giving up on the season with so much left to play. And I don't disagree with that. We'll get to Enzo, but I don't disagree with this at all. I feel like, to an extent, Enzo Fernandez threw his hands up and said, fuck this project, and honestly, giving up, which I get. And then this is the last one I think I have on Cucurella here. Cucurella wanted to send the best possible message to Chelsea as a club and the fans. This was his mission. He wasn't doing it against the club or someone at the club. So, hey, trying to save some face, because he knows if you speak out against, Comandante Egbali, you will see the chopping block.
Give it up, man. Give it up, bro.
It's true. It's Comandante Egbali, bro. It's dictatorship. Dictator Egbali. Bro, Ahmed, what do you have to say about Cucurella's comments?
I mean, generally, Cucurella wasn't saying anything too crazy, in my personal opinion. Speaking logically, speaking honestly from his viewpoint, he wasn't saying anything like which was crazy. I think though, you can say that now because, as I said before, the reason why he wasn't fine or anything like that, again, he's saying that obviously from the perspective that where he feels like, oh, I'm in my prime right now, I want to win stuff, essentially, right? But at the same time, from a club perspective, we're not going to do that to Cucurella, because why? Because Cucurella is probably going to go at the end of the season. I said this before these comments happened, right? He's done 200 bags a week right now. He's only got 2 years left on his deal. They've not extended him. So they're looking to catch on him anyway. So from their point, it's like, oh, this guy can say what he wants. He's going to be gone in a few weeks anyway.
Ooh, Rosinha?
Cucurella.
Oh, probably. I can see him being sold this summer. I can see him being sold this
You
summer.
have to also look at it from the
comments.
viewpoint that the club wasn't too happy when Hatta wasn't getting played, by the way. Right? It was clear that when he was on the few players, which they were questioning why is he not getting played more, because I think they thought that Hatta was going to be, they assumed that Hatta was going to actually play games this season and actually develop and be ready to be the starting left back for next season. At least from their perspective, right? Which is why now, if you look at him, he's playing more games. He's actually improved and looked better.
He looks better, yeah.
Gone, right? So again, I'm not surprised at all that this is the conclusion they've said. So at the end of the day, not. Yeah, I think generally speaking, I do think I can understand Rosinha's viewpoint of like, why are you guys not talking to me about this, right? Because like if they're not telling him first, right, and then there is, I think, objectively a good point to be made that you speak to me first before you start doing this stuff right outside, because then you're causing me problems and then you're causing your own selves problems too at the same time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, why I think Cucurella he got away with one. I'm not gonna lie. Like right now, everyone's focused on Enzo Fernandez, but what Cucurella said was like much more direct and to the point, and he still at the same time didn't deny going. Like Caicedo denied it pretty much. Like, here, I'm in contract with this, but we don't know what happens. I'm not thinking about that stuff right now. To be fair, Cucurella said he's not thinking about it right now. But when asked about Barca, he didn't deny it. But it's also, we know as fans, it makes sense. Yes, he's from La Masia. He's a La Masia graduate. Yes, he's gonna always have a special place in his heart for Barcelona. I'm not stupid, but to an extent, it's like you're still under contract at Chelsea. You know this is gonna go out publicly. You got to be careful what you say. But I think him and Enzo are pretty much gone in the summer, which is kind of shitty considering the way Cucurella's worked himself into the situation he's in right now, where he was consistently our best left back, one of the best left backs in the world. Hasn't been playing too well recently, just because due to the formation, due to just the amount of games under his legs, all that stuff. But Cucu actually sounds concerned about the way Chelsea's even going. He's not going to be here for much longer. Yeah, it's I agree. I think it comes from a place of just concern to me. So yeah. I mean, yeah, he wasn't flirting, but at the same time, he didn't flat out deny that he could go to Barca. So in a sense, like, it was kind of flirting. But let me not talk too much on it, because I think what everyone wants to talk about is mostly what Enzo Fernandez had to say. And let me tell you guys, this segment is there's a lot to go over in this segment. So before I actually move on to it, any other final thoughts on Cuckoo Ahmed that you want to point out? Any agendas?
I won against Cucurella. That's it. If you're on agenda, I'll tell you right now. I won against Cucurella. Hold that Cucurella, man.
Wow. I don't think you won. Like, what situation would have to play out for you to not win? Because I feel like you can always win, because the players are eventually always going to leave.
I don't know. Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
All right. Well, Cucurella will probably see himself out in the summer, mostly because I felt like, again, he also spoke out against the club. Even though I agree with it, I've always told you guys, when it comes to speaking out against the club, if you can do it in a way where you don't lose your job and you can still help the team win and all that stuff, then all for it. But if you're just going to get yourself fired and sacked, there's no point in doing it. There's no point in entering in conflict if it's not going to lead to a resolution. Because with these guys, it never leads to a resolution. But we'll see. In due time, we'll see. We'll probably start hearing rumors soon about Cucurella's sale in terms of summer transfer window and all that.
Fuck him anyway, man. We don't need Spain. We don't need Spain.
What happened about Spain?
Say no to Spain and Portugal, personally, for me, man.
In terms of selling to them? No, you're just saying things. Okay, never mind. Let's get into the Enzo stuff.
I said say no to Portugal and Spain.
In terms of selling to them?
Just buying from them. How about that?
Ah, okay, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah. So Marshall, you're really going to scapegoat Enzo and Cucurella, but not call out the... Okay. Oh, thank you. Whoever... Xtel, thank you. I appreciate it. You did my job for me. At this point, it's just getting annoying. You're just clearly trolling. Like, it's just annoying. Like, hey, I'm trying to engage in intelligent conversation. I gave you the benefit of the doubt multiple times, but you can just hold that ban for however long you're banned for, and then just think about what you did, because it's really getting annoying now. Like, I'm not Blue Co-in. And if you claim I'm Blue Co-in, you're just not paying attention. You're clearly trolling.
Blue Co-in. Marshall. Blue Co strong.
All right, solo show for the rest of today. I found out who Gringo was. It's Ahmed's burner. All right, let's get into Enzo, because this is the meat and potato. This took over the international break, and I get why this took over the international break. It's just, oh my days, man. This is a lot. So get out of here, EE, bro. Now your people are trolling. All right, Enzo Fernandez. Wow. At this point, I don't even care if what he says, I agree or disagree with what he says. It's too much drama than it's worth, man. This is just for a player that's been mid. Let's just be honest. He's been so mid since he's coming to Chelsea. Like, that first season, I was excited. I was like, oh, I see a creative player. Like, I see a long path. Like, this guy looks like he could be good. Can give us some goals. Never gave us really goals. All right, cool. Second season under Poch. God damn it, you were a liability. God damn it, you were pretty bad. Apparently playing with a hernia. Okay, you had an excuse. No excuses under Maresca. And you know what? You gave us your best GNA output. But I didn't think the performances were that great. And this season, still giving us GNA, sure. But I don't think your performances have been overall that great. I think you've been mid overall. So all this for a player who, in my opinion, has never lived up to that price tag. And all this for a player who I don't even think has been that great. If he leaves Chelsea, yes, there will be a hole to fill. Yes, there's not really many profiles like him that can use their long passing ability and their creativity out there in the midfield. Yes, but I'm sorry, I've not seen enough of that to merit all this drama. Let's get into it, guys. What am I talking about? All right, let's start from the beginning. We're going to work our way and really build this story out, because I want you guys to understand how it started and where it currently is right now. So, 30th of March, right? We get this little briefing from Fabrizio. Enzo Fernandez. I'd like to return to River Plate one day. I want to return feeling good, playing at a good level. he told Marcos Giles, right, a reporter, this is almost essentially tit for tat what Lukaku said about Inter, right? He didn't sanction his own interview with Sky or whatever, so it's not as egregious. But regardless, this is a Lukakuism. Lukaku did it after half a season, not even. He did it 3 months into his first season at Chelsea of returning back. This is 3 years in the making, so you can kind of differentiate the two a little bit, right? It's not as egregious as Lukaku, but it is a little snaky, right? We move on. And it also, it makes sense. Why? Because it's the club he grew up in, so you can give him a pass for this a little bit, right? We continue on. This is where things get bad. So Enzo Fernandez goes on a stream. And you could see the stream. I'm not going to play it, but if you want to watch the stream, you can translate it yourself. This is actually a really awkward interaction. But he's essentially asked, what city would you like to live in one day? What other city would you like to live in? What would be a dream for you? He said, Madrid. I like Madrid very much. It's very similar to Buenos Aires. And the guys were trolling. They were fucking around there saying, oh, what team is close to Buenos Aires? What team is close to Madrid? Getafe, Levante, everything other than Real Madrid. So they know what they're doing, right? And Enzo, I'm not going to also play stupid. I'm not going to defend Enzo here. Enzo knows what he's doing too, okay? So he then goes on to another interview, right? Harmless interview at the surface level. And so he was asked about, Chelsea and all that stuff. He said this: the first year and a half, I didn't have a good time at Chelsea. It was a sudden change. It was also a language issue. The first 6 months, I didn't understand anything they were saying to me. Also had this to say, Enzo Fernandez on Loser TV. I always tell Valdo, his wife, that if I have to choose a city to live in Europe, I really like Madrid. It's very similar to Buenos Aires, also because of the food. So here we go. This is the beginning of the end. We continue on. Enzo Fernandez. The opponent players that impressed me the most, Toni Kroos. It was Real Madrid versus Chelsea at the Bernabeu, and he was so impressive. Luka Modric too. Listen, I don't disagree. Those are impressive players. But when you're being now touted to be interested in those clubs, these comments hit a little harder. And you know what you're doing, Enzo. Let's be honest. So, Rodri, Simon Felix came out with this. Simon Felix came out with this. Rodri will not join Real Madrid. This is our information. Florentino Perez does not want Rodri. Enzo Fernandez is actually much, much closer to Real Madrid than Rodri. Real Madrid consider Enzo Fernandez signing impossible this summer. He would cost over 100 million euros, and Real Madrid will absolutely not pay. Yeah, hefty price tag. We continue on. Breaking. Chelsea are in the market for another midfielder this summer, and Enzo Fernandez is no longer considered untouchable at Stamford Bridge. However, the club would only entertain offers exceeding £100 million for the Argentine, according to Sky Sports News as of March 30th. Let's continue on. So Fabrizio Romano then reporting this. There's still no agreement between Chelsea and Enzo Fernandez on a new deal. This is why there is tension around his future. Nothing has been decided or started in terms of negotiations or talks, but we have to take into consideration Enzo Fernandez mentioning Madrid in one more key interview after what he said about the possibility of eventually considering his future in the summer window. A leading Chelsea player can become one of the highest earners in the league through incentives, but rivals still offer higher guaranteed salaries. With the players often aware of wages elsewhere, this was important. This has reportedly influenced Enzo Fernandez, who is understood to want improved terms. There is no urgency from Chelsea to offer a new deal, but they may not stop the player from pushing for one. Enzo Fernandez feels his personal ambitions cannot be matched at Chelsea's current project. Recent comments made by Enzo Fernandez has cast doubts over his future in West London. There's a feeling Enzo Fernandez is no longer considered untouchable as the likes of Cole Palmer and Moises Caicedo still are. So, after all that being said, this is where things start to go against Enzo Fernandez. This is where the PR machine starts to, fire their shots back at Enzo Fernandez. It gets pretty nasty from here. This is an ugly tussle, which I'm pretty sure guarantees Enzo's exit in the summer. So, if Enzo Fernandez is dissatisfied with Chelsea's directions, that's understandable. Just as it is, he's pushing for improved terms after seeing others rewarded. However, there is a feeling such matters should be handled privately rather than aired publicly. And he's probably referring to the fact that after the game, things came out and things were said. He only said, as far as the surface levels is aware of, he only said he wants to live in Madrid one day and he admires players like Toni Kroos and Modric. Never came out and said that he likes Real Madrid. However, us as fans know what he's trying to do. And the club probably understand what he's trying to do. But the club kind of made themselves out to be a little foolish now. So Chelsea players have been left unimpressed with Enzo Fernandez's leadership at the time when everyone needs to pull together to get UCL football. Enzo Fernandez berated teammates during a run of 4 successive defeats, which has annoyed some players. It's understood Enzo has been vocal in the dressing room during recent defeats. Now, we're trying to label Enzo Fernandez as public enemy number 1. This is where the PR is heading, people. This is what it... Now we're lambasting Enzo Fernandez for being the vice captain and yelling at players like Jorgensen, like Garnacho, like Neto, who aren't up to snuff, right? So, yeah, now all of a sudden you want us to believe that we should be against Enzo because he's berating the players. Whatever, bro. Let's continue on. John Obi Mikel had this to say. And you know what? I don't even disagree with John Obi Mikel entirely on this. But let's read what John Obi Mikel had to say. So he said this. For him to come out and make such a statement after we've disgracefully dumped out of the Champions League wearing the captain's armband is not good. No player is bigger than the football club. He's had enough. Put your hands up and fuck off, and we move on. You cannot move out and say that. It doesn't matter what is happening. You should be grateful that you're playing for a club like Chelsea Football Club. I'm sorry, not this version of Chelsea Football Club. I'm sorry, Mikel. During your time, yes, but not this one. I can understand it's a little bit of frustration, but you still have to respect the badge. You still have to respect the football club. You still have to respect the fans because the fans are the ones who pay your wages. Again, I don't disagree with that stuff. Again, on a surface level, all he said is he wants to eventually live in Madrid and he wants to one day live in Madrid and that he admires Toni Kroos and such. But the one egregious thing that he did say was after the game, and here are the quotes, he was asked, a 25-year-old who joined Benfica in a £106 million transfer deal in February 2023 is under contract till 2032, meaning he has 6 more years left to his contract, people. But when asked whether he can guarantee he will be at Chelsea next season, Fernandez told ESPN Argentina, I don't know. My focus is here for now. We have 8 Premier League matches to play and the FA Cup. Then the World Cup coming up, so we'll see after that. So John Obi Mikel is referring to this, right? The quotes that he said right after the PSG games. I don't think this is that egregious, but this is the most egregious of all the quotes that have come out so far. But because Enzo is coming at such a high price tag, because he's coming at such a high profile, and because he's such a heart of the project and all that, quote unquote, right? They're making a big deal about it. We continue on. Jay Burt from the Telegraph, Mike McGrath from the Telegraph. More PR pushing against Enzo. Enzo Fernandez has previously made a point of squaring up to former Chelsea players when facing them after they have left, but the irony has not been lost on some given those players never publicly put their futures in doubt with interviews. I don't know. Madueke never did, but Mount kind of did. Enzo Fernandez, Jacob Steinberg, look at this one, Ahmed. Enzo Fernandez is a poor leader, and some at Chelsea long felt that he should be sold. By the mutiny from him and Cucurella shows where the project could fall. Then again, Reece James's deal to sign a faith is a sign of faith before more crucial summer peace here. This is things are getting really bad now. This is escalating. Chelsea are unimpressed with Enzo Fernandez, and some believe it won't be a disaster if he goes. It would have to be a big fee. The Spanish sources, Real Madrid, are not about to pay £100 million. What's up, Ahmed?
Just the source is also Jacob Steinberg. I just want people to understand. Because I don't know why he's doing the Guardian and the source football. That is Jacob Steinberg.
Yeah, I tried to just get all of them together, but yeah, I put the pieces together.
I know for you, I know you know that, but obviously the audience sometimes because they're like,
oh yeah, true. So anything you guys see from The Guardian is from the same Jacob Steinberg article that he wrote. And there's going to be a few consistent going ahead now.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Jacob Steinberg, man. Shout out to Jacob Steinberg.
So this is where it gets nasty. Chelsea are now playing in the mud. This is where it gets nasty. Again, this is a reaction to Enzo Fernandez saying he wants to go to Madrid. He wants to live in Madrid one day. And his favorite players, Cruz and Modric, that he's played against, right? And obviously the PSG stuff. This is how nasty it gets. Like, Chelsea aren't fucking around. No, absolutely no ill talk, no nothing. Otherwise, you're out. They will disgrace you. This is what happened, right? So the first quote here. On Enzo's interviews, Kieran Gill reporting, obviously, the PR mouthpiece, right? Chelsea insiders are disappointed. The Argentine FA are supposed to recognize if the interview is right one for their player. And outlets have used the opportunity to quiz Fernandez on Chelsea, Madrid, and his future. Okay, that was a quiz. Where would you like to live one day? Apparently is a quiz question. This is just ridiculous. It's absolutely embarrassing. But they also had this. Chelsea further protected Enzo from the Argentina bus incident. Enzo wasn't put up for any press conferences in the Conference League last season, nor did journalists get to speak with him in the mixed zone after games, just in case he was asked about the chant. This is... So as much as they're trying to throw their toys at Enzo and make him look bad, they're also making themselves look bad by this. Because this tells me, oh, so you had an issue with the whole bus incident from the get-go. But rather than address it, rather than suspend him, punish him, or maybe even sell him as a result of that, you defended him because he was your prize piece. He was the heart of the project. You spent £100 million on him. And you can't make this up. They're basically throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. At the end of the day, buddy, you're playing in shit. You're playing in shit. So you're also blaming the Argentine FA. Yo, the PR here is hilarious. All because Enzo said what he said. And listen, we all know what Enzo's trying to do, right? But hey, the PR is nasty. You're also, you know, what was it? Friendly fire? Friendly fire? That's what you're doing here. There's some friendly fire going on here. Let's continue. A few more quotes, right? So, yeah, this is the other one. Yeah. Like I said, Chelsea showed a great deal of faith in Enzo Fernandez after Argentina's 2024 Copa America triumph when he was filmed singing a controversial song. Chelsea further protected their player after the controversial saga. That may add to the club's feeling of frustration now, given what has happened during the international break. Guys, you can't make this up. This is hilarious. So, Liam, as a result, here's what we got from Max. Liam Rosenior has spent the international break working with his staff and directors on how to address the mental and physical fatigue in the club. Rosenior is understood to be stressed about working hard. Chelsea's current position is that they have little appetite to change the manager again, with many squad members fed up with the constant instability and changes. Caicedo, Kobo have been mentioned in circles as good options to take over as vice captain, obviously, should action be decided to be taken. Rosenior is expected to be asked tomorrow on Enzo Fernandez's future as vice captain, and he was asked. Enzo Fernandez is something of a performative player. Kieran Gill talking as well, more PR, particularly when Chelsea are losing. If we have seen him start scraps as if to show his passion to the frustrated fans, which it does feel performative as well, I agree. It might be time for Rosenior to do some performing of his own. Wow, okay. Namely by handing the armband to someone who has not spent the last weeks inviting speculation on his immediate future. Oh, this is basically the ownership saying, hey, take off the armband. Get rid of the armband from Enzo Fernandez. Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This isn't the owner saying, it's Kieran Gill. It's an opinion. But hey, it's coming from Kieran Gill, so we know where it's coming from. Enzo Fernandez is Chelsea vice captain. But Liam Rosenior has a decision to make. Either he allows him to continue to don that armband, or he does not. It would send a message if he decided to go down the latter route loud and clear. And I'm sure it would send a message. Ben Jacobs, more stuff here on Enzo Fernandez. Before I continue
no,
on, Ahmed, you're
no.
itching to say stuff, so go ahead, man.
No,
'Cause it's
finish
a lot.
it. Finish it. There's a lot here. You need to finish it, man.
Yeah, there's a good amount. I have a few more tweets, and then I'm done.
No, please.
Yeah, bro, because this has been going on for
There's
a
no
while,
way
and
there's
today
this much
more
more
stuff
to-
came out.
What
That's
came
what I'm
out
saying.
today?
If you want to say some stuff before I continue on.
I didn't even know something came out today, by the way. I didn't even check
Yeah,
it
more
out
stuff
today.
came out today.
Today I was like fucking doing spring cleaning today. I cleaned like my whole house like.
Hey, man, I gotta do that soon as well.
I
gotta do that soon as well. But let me continue on, people. Right. So this is now we're catching up to today's news, right? So Ben Jacobs had this to say. Enzo Fernandez has been excluded from Chelsea games against Port Vale and Man City. So he's been excluded out, right? Exiled out of those two games, which, sure, if you want to believe that was Liam's decision, so be it. I don't think Liam had a say in this, okay? So that's what I'm saying. When it comes to the club, I think the club have... That's all I'll say, okay? Man City, following the comments made during international break, hinting at wanting to go to Madrid. Liam said this: "I spoke with Enzo an hour. As a football club, and with me as part of the process, we made a decision. He won't be available." He was part of the decision making, guys. Just want to let you know.
The way Marsh is
Liam was
speaking
part of
about the club,
decision-making.
man. The way Marsh speaks about the club, like the fucking mafia bosses or something, bro. Like,
That's what it feels like.
bro, I swear to God, bro. Every time I see you talk about them, bro, I feel like they're like mafia bosses here or something, bro. Like,
I think so. I think we're
They're
just
not
in
on
one
their
big ass
bosses,
episode of The Godfather. You know? So that's what it feels like for me. We've made decisions. He won't be available for tomorrow's game, and he won't be available for Man City's next game next Sunday. I think a line was crossed, and that's crazy. I think a line was crossed in terms of our culture and what we want to build. So we had to make a sanction, and that was the decision we've made. Saying that the door is not closed on Enzo. That is very important. It's a sanction because at this football club, which is a winning... Now you're just fucking lying. That's a very important decision. It's a sanction because at this football club, which is a winning football club with tradition of success, you have to protect that culture. I think in terms of that, the line was crossed in international break. Motherfucker, all he said was that he wants to live in Madrid one day and that he lives up or he respects Cruz and Modric. Yes, I know under the surface level, he's probably hinting at a move, but you also can't speculate as a big club. You have to act in terms of surface level, actually professional. This is not professional, but we move. Sure, on both ends, it's not professional. Enzo Fernandez will be left out of the next two games by Chelsea after the recent quotes on his future, Madrid, and more. Enzo will not play tomorrow against City. I have no bad words for him, but a line was crossed and we have sanctioned Enzo, says Liam Rose Sr. Liam also had this to say: unfair punishment, that's his opinion. I don't have anything to say on someone else's opinion. Damn! What are you saying, Ahmed?
So, listen, is that all? Or have you got anything else, mate?
A few more. So sources close to Cobham confirm Caicedo is set to be the vice captain.
Marshall, that
Chelsea
guy
do
just
not
said-
want to sell Enzo Fernandez after his bombshell comments. That's from Bobby Vincent. Liam also had this to say: Enzo and I are in a very good place. I saw him today, and I had a really good conversation with him today one-on-one, and things aren't what people think they are. Two more. Liam Sr. also had this to say: Enzo is still part of a leadership group, so they're not going to strip him of the vice captaincy. Okay. We'll see after the Man City game. For me, I won't be stripping him of anything because he doesn't deserve that. Okay. So all this for what? All this for what? Chelsea are still ready and willing to reward Enzo with an improved contract despite stalled negotiations, growing interest from Europe's elite. Now it's Graham Bailey. Take it with a pinch of salt. Believe it. There's some credibility there. Not entirely. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ahmed, I'm going to grab an iced tea real quick, but your opinion.
Is that code name for
That's
beer
it.
or something?
No. That's. I'm gonna get an iced tea. That just needs some caffeine.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
53 comments. I'm sure a lot of
listen.
you cooking me for what I'm thinking about.
I
Enzo.
think just Marshall's been a bit of a. He didn't like getting caught a
Get
cock.
out of here, bro. 1 second.
Yeah, he didn't like getting caught a cock, but this is cock behavior right here, mate. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what to say to this. At the end of the day, he knows the answers that he's given, right, is gonna engage in some of the stuff that's going to happen to him, right? Whether it be obviously him saying, for example, he was like, oh, I like Madrid, I like this, I like all that other stuff related to it. Clearly, there is something that's being obviously, relayed through him making these so-called viewpoints, all right? And listen, the same people, the same people, by the way, that were crashing it, on Lukaku for, that's like Enzo setting up the interview, and B, making the comments that he made, right? We were crashing on Lukaku, and we should be crashing it on Enzo. It doesn't matter if I agree with the player or don't agree with the player. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be making these statements about the club. As always, the club, the badge over players. I think that's something that we as players, fans, keep forgetting. I'm not a fan of Enzo Fernandez. I am a fan of Chelsea Football Club first and foremost.
Agreed.
Now, in regards to what the club is doing, I think the club, in my personal opinion, right, in terms of what they released about Enzo and racism stuff, we all knew that was true. I don't know why, Marshall, you're acting that crazy, bro. The club have always made their viewpoint clear that they're gonna always protect their asset, essentially, in their eyes, right? And I think them making the point that, listen, when you were getting called a racist, we were there for you. It's just them showing him. Hey, when you were down,
That's just the way. It's a bad look. It's a bad look.
It's not a bad look because this is Chelsea.
Well, it's a bad look for Chelsea because they're admitting they avidly defended
Marshall, you
the
need to
racist
understand
situation.
that's not a bad look for Chelsea because they've already accepted that we're racist, bro. Already. So
okay, fine.
you see that? I mean, listen. I just want to invite you to look at some of John Terry's tweets in the past 2 weeks, and hey man, we never beaten the allegations.
Next show. I say that.
I'm just saying, I don't think we should bring it up. It's too political, I think, what he did. So we should probably leave him out of it. I'm just making the point that the club, listen, one of the guys that's trying to buy us right now, sorry, I should actually just add this really quick with you, is one of the chairmen of Reform UK. Marshall knows I cook Chris about Reform UK. If you know who Reform UK is, one of the guys that tried to buy us is their own financial chairman. Again, let us not, please. You know what I mean? We know the racism in Chelsea. Sadly, there's a place for it. I hate to be like that, but there's a reality about that in the end of the day, right? But fundamentally speaking, respect to Enzo's point, I think it's just them saying, listen, when you are racist, we were there. Just remember that. And I think that's a fair thing to remind them of, because those allegations haven't gone anywhere serious, by the way. Those stuff that's been proven, the stuff like that's happened is there. So listen, I want to make it clear. What I do think he's gone in the summer, in my personal opinion. I'm sorry, I don't think he's gone in the summer, I should say, because I am yet to see someone that's going. Bit talk about Ahmed as well, but I'm just yet to see anyone. Yeah, again, I've asked this question multiple times. Who is gonna pay 100 for him? On this question, guys.
Who's gonna pay flat out 100 mil for Enzo? Because
that's gonna basically be what the club wants. They're gonna
find something,
right? The club wanted 100 million, and
I think
so they're gonna want that
negotiate.
value, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, he is not going for anything less than 3 figures. I promise you, he's not going for anything less than 3 figures, right? It has to be a total package of 3 with 3 digits in it. That's it. That's what it just comes down to for me. Now, I think, listen, in general, in terms of the captaincy stuff, the captaincy, bro, it's already lost its meaning. It's already lost its value, in my personal opinion. So, you're never going to catch me doing all that craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I agree with Uncle, man. These Americans have ruined Chelsea, you know what I mean? Marshall, Marshall, man. If I speak of the Marshall files, man, in England, man, bloody hell, man, you know what I mean? Listen, all I'm still going to say, the dollar goes a long way in the Chelsea shop. That's what I'm going to say, man.
It does.
Listen.
The dollar doesn't go a long way in
The
England,
dollar goes a long
actually.
way in the English store.
The dollar doesn't go a long way.
Hey, in the Joseph Smith store, I'm hearing the dollar goes like a long way compared to the
I'm
pound,
just
man. That's
saying,
all I'm
man.
hearing.
Like, the dollar's gone down a lot in value. It doesn't go a
I
long
mean,
way
listen,
anymore.
and listen, that's now, but you know, a few months ago, when we were in the mega store.
Hey, listen, I admit I was a sellout for that weekend. But I'm done being a sellout.
You know,
Done.
listen,
The brown
one good
envelopes
thing-
have run dry.
The one good thing about
up
Marshall
Staffy.
is that we have maintained the fact that we have made sure to not get him a Enzo shirt. Alhamdulillah, we've not made that happen. And we
Well,
are gonna.
Oh, okay, hold on. I do have an Enzo shirt, but that was like first season, before everything happened.
Yeah, he's a racist, man. That's it, man.
It's cool.
You see, listen. You
not
can
true.
accuse me of Sterling. You can accuse me of Lavia, Havertz, Mount, Disasi signed, but you will never, you know, Enzo Fernandez. Hey. But no, listen, again, guys. Overall, he's being disrespectful, and he knows he's being disrespectful. That's all it is.
No one's suspended from the stream. They're just not here. It's just that simple. And to be honest, I woke up really late today and I gave everyone the stream like 30 minutes beforehand. So they probably made plans beforehand.
Why
That's-
is
that's besides the point.
Prime is suspended? I don't even know he was suspended.
He's not.
Mate. Oh, fair enough.
No one's
sorry.
suspended.
So what is he suspended or not, Marshall? Can you just confirm that for me, please?
See, the thing is, like, he's not. But also, like, the thing is, Staffy's coming here hating, saying we deserve this and all that stuff. I never said that about Staffy's club. I always said this club was a joke. I was there when things were bad. I was there for Staffy when things were bad, man. All right? I never said you deserve this. I never said any of that. What I did say is your club is a joke and that we're not the same. So now he's coming with this petty energy. I will be there. I will be there. I will be there when things
Why
are
are we listening
looking.
to a United fan about Chelsea topics?
That's true.
You know what?
That's true.
We've got him on Mondays and Thursdays on American Waffle. If you want to see us talk to Staffy, talk with us. But then this is a Chelsea fan channel. Let's talk Chelsea.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
We'll talk staff. But yeah, like, okay, in terms of the whole thing, like, I'm done with Enzo. Just get him gone. Like, I'm over it. This is ridiculous. I do think there is a path to sell him in the summer. I don't think it's impossible. But the other thing I'll say too is that I think with me, the problem I have with bringing up the Argentine bus incident is that you're bringing it up now because he pissed you off with his little comments that he said during international break. You're using it as a low blow, leverage against him, right? You didn't have to bring it up again. But the thing is, even if you did bring it up, it makes you look bad because if you bring it up now, that's something that should have been dealt with back then. That was 2 seasons ago, or not even. That was the beginning of last summer, right? You should have brought it up then. You should have dealt with it then. He should have never been vice captain as a result of that. That's what makes this look bad on Chelsea. Let's be honest, Enzo Fernandez should never have been the vice captain of Chelsea Football Club after the whole bust up with the bus. And sure, you can say all you want. Maybe the Sassi, Fofana, Lavia, just the French contingency and those close to the French contingency ended up putting it aside. It was a mistake. You could even say it came from a place of ignorance. It wasn't meant to be, harmful or whatever the fuck. At the end of the day, it did what it did. And that's why I tell people, like, if you feel some type of way about it, then sure, you can feel the type of way. I'm not going to take that away from you. You can have your opinion on it. At the end of the day, if you felt it was racist, you felt it was racist. If you felt it was xenophobic, you felt it was xenophobic. At the end of the day, you feel what you feel. But he should not have been awarded vice captaincy after that situation. He should have been dealt with after that situation. Now you're bringing it up like a dunk on Enzo against all this PR. I just think at this point, both parties have made each other look so ridiculous and made it known that they no longer want part to do with anyone. Even though, yes, ideally Chelsea do not want to sell Enzo. They want the project to continue. But now they said, hey, if the right price is available, we will sell you. You are no longer untouchable as a result of all this. You want to go? Go. And listen, I agree with Enzo wanting to leave. I don't think the club's ambitions are heading in the direction that he wants it to head to. I agree with that. But you are also the vice captain. When you come out and say these things publicly, it's going to look bad. Because as a vice captain, as a captain, as a leader in the dressing room, you have to lead by example. And if you're going bitching and moaning at the end of every game about the project, about, players are coming out, because I don't think that's untrue. I do think, to an extent, players are dissatisfied with the way he's kind of given up on the season. Yeah, because at the end of the day, what happens in the boardroom, what happens in the background, that's nothing to do with you as a player. Yes, your contracts and all that stuff. Yes, you want to be ambitious, you want to win. All players want to do that. But at the end of the day, the players take it upon themselves. They take it upon, the manager, just the team. They don't look at the board per se for that, right? That was in the summer. That was when the transfer window happened. You now as a player have to look at yourself. Because let's be honest, like, Ahmed, I don't think I'm being egregious when I say this. The players also have to take blame for the performances that have been happening. It's not just the board. It's not just the managers. It's also the players. Enzo Fernandez has to take accountability for the bad performances. Even though I think against that PSG game, he played really well. But at the end of the day, if the players are coming out saying you're giving up, like, yeah, you're not. The players are still going to fight. The players still have something to fight for. They're going to be more concerned about Chelsea and the results.
Can I cut you off quickly about the racism thing about Chelsea?
Go for it.
Why do you not think Chelsea was ever going to do that, bro? Any club they have leverage on. Chelsea are a certain dominance on him right now. I don't think you understand that, bro. Okay?
Sure.
They're slapping. Listen, I'm going to use this because I think it's really the best way to. They're slapping their fucking cock on the table, bro. That's the best way to put it. Like, there's not, like, obviously, but I think this is, they're literally doing the thing of, like, where they're showing you their manliness. They're trying to insert their masculine dominance here in the sense that, the thing I found cheeky is that they've not even mentioned the contract shit yet, by the way, that he's signed to 6 years or 7-year contract deal right now, because that's what he's signed to, by the way, right? Which is one thing.
Yeah, 6 years left,
They literally hit him first in the controversy angle. They're like, remember, you were a racist at one point in time.
Yeah.
And you rehabilitated your image. You was one of the best midfielders in the league at that point, from a GNA standpoint. You won a conference and a Club World Cup of that season, right? So we helped in improving you and making you look like a good player. So don't you forget that, big man.
No, my only issue is that, like, it's the timing of it. If you had a problem with it, you should address it then. You're only bringing it up now as a point of dunking it on Enzo.
No, Marshall, you're not getting the point. They are doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. Their whole point is to remind him, it's not about them being petty or them being angry about something. They're letting him know, listen, remember when you were a race and these guys didn't help you? We were there for you, basically. That is the whole point they're trying to make, right? They're not. I think people. I know 1303 days are trying to say that the club is being petty. The club's not even being petty. They're just giving you the home truth, bro. That is the home truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can listen. The club can go further. By the way, that's the one thing. The one thing about Enzo is that he can do all this cheekiness and stuff like that. But the reality is, the club can go further than that. They can just say, "You got a 7-year deal. We don't even need to negotiate with you, mate. You know what? Shut up and hold it, bro."
No,
he's basically here. I remember he's here until he's 32 years old. Essentially, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's got around 6-7 years, so he's gonna be here until he's 32 years old. So they can just say, "Shush, keep playing the game, bro."
I agree with that. I just think for me, it's just like, it's nothing. Nothing feels good about weaponizing a bust up like that, like a xenophobic, racist incident. That's just what it feels like.
That's Chelsea, mate. They can do that. No, listen.
They can do that. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
No. Marshall, what you're saying is correct if it was any other random club.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if this was not, if this was, what's it called, if this was like a United, an Arsenal, of course, saying that would be crazy. You know what would happen, bro, right? But this is Chelsea. Oh, I hate to say it like that, but this is Chelsea, bro. They can say that because it's the club's image has that relationship, bro.
Unfortunately.
That's like basically, that's like an Atletico Madrid guy. Like, imagine if he was at Atletico Madrid and they said that to him. They can say that because the club sadly has a relationship to that sort of thing. right?
Unfortunately, yes.
You didn't know, but do you understand? Like, there's an
Yeah,
actual, there's a relationship there. Built to logic, man. I appreciate logic understanding that I'm entertaining you without my briefly, but tomorrow's bank holiday as well, so I've got like a 4-day bank holiday. I've not been working since like Thursday, basically. So shout out to Easter, man. That's the one thing good about Easter, man. You know, Jesus may have died and rose back, but he gave me 4 days off. Shout out to Jesus. W Jesus, man. Shout out to Jesus. Sorry, we're on a Spanish channel. Shout out to Jesus, please. Shout out to Jesus. Thank you.
Sure. Sure. Whatever you say, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, listen. Where do you stand on this? Like, are you ready for Enzo to leave in the summer, or do you think?
I would love. Listen, Marshall. You know this. You know my POV. I would love for him to leave, but I just don't see it happening, bro. I don't know about you, bro. I just don't see it happening. So I don't know why we have this conversation about like we think it's gonna happen.
I think the club.
Because do you think it's gonna happen, Marshall? Genuinely speaking, because I don't think it's gonna happen that it gets sold.
I think it's gonna happen.
I just don't see it, bro. I'll be honest with you.
I do. I think. Remember when we were in for Garnacho, how much the club said they wanted to spend for Garnacho, and then we ended up overspending, and then on top of it, getting a sell-on clause on that. I think these guys say they want 100 mil, but are willing to do something around 70 mil plus 10 in add-ons, so 80 mil total for a move to Real Madrid. It could be more, it could be less, but I'm also not going to pretend that Real Madrid, like someone in chat said and reminded me, Real Madrid to spend money for Jude Bellingham, around the same amount of money. So I could see a move being sanctioned. Will it be Madrid? Maybe not, but it could be PSG. If he does go to PSG, I don't know where exactly he's going to play. It could be a rotational piece. Fabian Ruiz is getting older. It could be, a replacement piece. Like, I'm not entirely sure. But I do think a move can be sanctioned. And especially when, like, you've kind of come out against the ownership and kind of... I could see it getting uglier in the summer where Enzo refuses to go to training, like the whole Isak situation. I could see that happening in the summer. It forces a move. It could even be a loan. It could even be a loan and then a move afterwards. But I do hear West Ham on a free. I could potentially see him going on a loan somewhere and then eventually getting the move. So either way, I don't think he's with us next summer. Why? Because Ahmed, can I move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
His replacement?
Yeah.
Because this came out today, boys. We already kind of knew. We knew it was going to happen. Everyone's told you. We know what the moves are. It's fully transparent. Like, we can predict how Blue Co are going to move now. This is what happened today, guys. Barco says yes to Chelsea. This is the replacement, people. Breaking. April 3rd, this came out. Again, during this whole bust up when it's all happening, April 3rd, this comes out. Breaking from Argentina. Chelsea have agreed to deal to sign Valentine Barco from their sister club Strasbourg. He will join in the summer. From ESPN Argentina, Augusto Cesar 22. And guess what? He ended up being right. Oops, I tabbed out the wrong one. Here we go. Fabrizio coming out and saying, Valentine Barco has said yes to Chelsea move. Personal terms agreed ahead of potential summer transfer. Colo Barco wants CFC and it's all set on the player's side. Up to Chelsea if and when to proceed, in total control of deal being at Strasbourg. There was another tweet somewhere apparently saying that Bayern were in competition. Bro, this was never a competition. All right? He was coming to Chelsea no matter what. And he is going to be the direct replacement for Enzo Fernandez, pretty much. That's simple as. Argentinian for Argentinian. Hopefully this one's not racist. That's all I got to say. But that's likely not happening. But anyways, we'll see what happens with this. I also don't think this is going to be a good replacement. I think physically, he's worse than Enzo. I think has similar traits, but physically worse than Enzo Fernandez. He's smaller. He's going to get bullied. I could be proven wrong, but I don't know about Valentine Barco. I'll be so real. And that's coming from someone who's watched him. I think he's a good talent, but I don't think for the Premier League he's going to do well at all. And Ahmed, you probably agree.
I just think I'm not really sure what the club's policy is right now in terms of what they want and what they're trying to do, personally, for me. I'm a bit confused.
I agree. It is confusing. Because
I
on one
think,
hand...
listen, Barco, as someone that's watched him for a while, I do agree with EPL Turf. He is more mobile. He's got a bit. He has a much better center of gravity. He can move. He's got a bit of agility. He's got balance. But again, I come back to like the height of our midfield, guys. The height of our midfield is the height of the team in general, guys. We have got a lot of extra short kings, is what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? It's not even like regular.
We do have a height problem at the club.
Like we do. Like listen, like. We might need to start bringing in the wags into the team because like maybe they've got a bit more...
What?
Wags, like that's a footballer's wife.
Wags?
You ever heard of the word wags? That's
No, I never heard the term.
That's a term for a footballer's wife, wag. So I thought you knew that. It's English term maybe.
No, that's the first chat. Did you ever heard of the word term wags?
Yeah, you didn't know.
Yeah, chat. You're gonna have to inform me.
Yeah, but like I just think, listen, in general, there is a height issue here. I'm not sure how we're gonna be solving that issue by bringing in Barco, but Barco is still a good player in my personal opinion.
Listen, I'm not denying he's a good player. An EPL turf. This is the thing. When Billy Gilmore was here, we saw the deficiencies of Billy Gilmore. I'm not saying he's like Billy Gilmore. He's a different player, different type of profile. But I think one thing that held Billy Gilmore back was the fact that he was not tall enough, and it did restrict him a lot. Barco is... I don't know if he's 5'2". He might be 5'6" or something like that. Let me actually look it up. How tall is Barco? Valentine.
He's 5'2".
That's... Dude, I'm taller than him. I'm taller than Barco. He's 21 as well. He's 5'7". Never mind. So he's about my height. Yeah. He's not... I'm sorry. I'm not tall enough to make it to the Prem. Neither is Valentine Barco. That's my only concern is the physicality. I do think there's a good player there. Like, he can make a pass. He can be aggressive. You know, he can, drive forward with the ball. Like, he's a good player. I just think the Premier League is not a league for him. I think he will suffer here.
Oh, there we go. Heightest. We're being heightest around there. You're being heightest.
I guess so. I don't know.
You know, guys like Marshall is the reason why the sport is where it is, by the way.
Where is the sport?
In hell.
Okay. Okay. Our Nate
No,
Robinson.
but on a much serious note, I just listen, guys. Yeah, I think obviously in general, an opinion-wise in general is that listen, he's probably gonna do well for the team, but I do think it doesn't help us for our in terms of our height situation, though. I'll be honest with you.
No, and I agree with that. So let's see what happens. Like, obviously the move is probably gonna happen. Some of you have probably never seen Barco play. I would suggest getting ahead of it, watching some Strasbourg games, especially in Conference League, because they're still in Conference League, and observe. Like, obviously, what me and Ahmed are saying, we're not too far off from the accurate thing. There's a good player there. He's a good part. It fell again, Ahmed. He's a good part of the Strasbourg team. Your scroll fell again. He's a good part. The one behind you.
Oh fuck! You know what I mean? I need to fucking use a nail. Because I used my other nail recently. I'll show you. So I used my other nail recently for like my Spider-Man. What's it called? A special edition. It's got the.
You use a thumbtack. That's how I used to hold my shit.
That's what I used. Look, can you not see the thumbtack on there?
Oh, it fell off. Okay,
so I'm gonna have to do something different for it. But
maybe double it up. But yeah, like I think Barco's a good player. I just don't think he suits our team. I just don't think he suits our league. I think he can do a job.
He does suit our league. Moments. He will. Listen, he will do well.
He reminds you of Jorginho without the.
No, Marshall genuinely he will do well for us in our league, bro. He will do well for us. Yeah, I just think we need to just be honest in terms of the fact that will he do well for us? Of course. But is he the type of guy that we need?
Time will tell. I hope you're right. Like I said, like I don't hope you're right because I want Blue Coat to be right. I hope you're right because I want Chelsea to do well. So yeah, I'm over this Fernandez stuff. Get him gone. Bring in Valentine Barco if you really think that's the solution. Then we'll see from there. But I'm not too optimistic is what I'm trying to get at, chat. Let's go on to. I think this is gonna be probably my favorite part of today's show. Can
I ask a question?
What?
Answer a question. If you're tough, Ahmed, till what age people play toy in UK? What toys am I playing with? Can I just ask, please? Like, these are display pieces. Well, everything I've got around me is actually display pieces. I actually don't play with toys. That's a bit noncy, if I have to say so myself.
Oh my days, bro.
Don't know.
Hey, I'm just being factual, bro. You will never catch me playing with toys. That's not a toy. That's an actual fucking real sword, bro. It's just like a. Do you want me to, like, genuinely, that's like a fucking real metallic sword. What are we doing?
It's fine. The toy on your wall is hilarious.
What? Disrespectful, like.
What is
You know,
that?
that can cut your head off.
There you go.
Listen, that can cut your head off if you're tough. Just know that.
Yeah, you. If you in a video game, man said cut your head off. All right, let's. This is gonna be a favorite part of today's segment. Since all this has been happening during international break, and since we're in the mud, the criticism on Blue Co has been insane from left to right. So today, we're going to read into a little bit of the criticism because there's been a lot. This is going to be a great segment for a lot of you guys. So let's read into this first part. So we read this one already, but John Obi Mikel is saying, no player is bigger than the football club. If Enzo Fernandez has had enough, put your hands off and fuck off. And we move on. You should be grateful for playing for Chelsea Football Club. Not even wrong. Look at this one. Henry Winter. Strong. Okay, let me pull up here. Strong leadership by Chelsea to omit Enzo Fernandez for the next 2 games. Unlikely to have played in the first Port Vale in the FA Cup, but dropping him against Man City in the Premier League is significant. Chelsea need points to get back into Champions League position. Enzo is a winner and productive. 8 goals, 3 assists, and 30 Premier League games this season. But his exclusion is clearly the right decision. Enzo's flirtation with Real Madrid was disrespectful to Chelsea fans, teammates, head coach, staff, sporting directors, and board. We get it. It was disrespectful to Chelsea. You could have just said that. He's vice captain. He's captain in the absence of Reece James and certainly hasn't behaved like one. Some of Enzo's frustrations about the club's direction is understandable, but it's unprofessional and unhelpful to state it publicly. He didn't state anything publicly, but okay. Liam Sr. is under enough pressure without dressing room unrest division. Enzo has also criticized underperforming teammates like Philip Jurgensen against PSG. All a bit rich. Enzo kept giving the ball away against Everton. Still had 2 shots well saved by Jordan. What are we doing here? Yeah. Criticize Philip Jurgensen. All of us were doing it. I don't care about that. Teammates should be keeping teammates accountable. How about that? All right? None of this fucking snowflake bullshit like you guys seem to... like you guys in chat. These critics seem to fucking claim. No, I'm just saying, it's the bullshit. It could have been Reece. It could have been anyone. I don't care. Berate the teammates, man, if they're not playing up to snuff. That's what we're used to back in the old day with Chelsea, all right?
Yeah, but this ain't old school, Marshall, man. This is a new
It
era.
ain't old school. And I get it. Enzo isn't in the place to really be criticizing that much because he's not been performing that well. Opportunity for Cole Palmer at 10 v City. Palmer is not the best in the best form. Is better floating inside and the right of the ball and is different type of 10 to Enzo. Chelsea have options with Enzo drop. They have enough wingers, Esteban Neto to cover Palmer moving inside. They have enough midfielders with Andre Santo, Lavia, although Moises Caicedo is far from peak form. A booking against City, the 32nd PL fixtures, so 2-game ban for 10th booking applies. Would see Caicedo miss Manchester United at home and Brighton away. Chelsea discipline needs addressing more broadly. Rosinha says he has spoken to Mark Cucurella about his comments in an interview with The Athletic. Cucurella praised Rosinha, but questioned why Enzo Maresca was eased out. Should he not have been punished by the club too? I asked the same thing. He wasn't indulging in transfer speculation as Fernandez was. His comments were actually sensible. A new manager really needs a preseason, etc. And of course, as one Chelsea fan observed, Cucurella is difficult to drop, has no quality replacement at left back. You see?
That's
different
not
reasons,
true.
different strokes for different folks, and it's not true. A final thing on Enzo. Would he actually get in Real Madrid's team? Would Kylian Mbappe welcome Argentinian who mocked the Frenchman in his first team last year? That's actually a really good point, actually. Dictator Mbappe, will he allow you in Real Madrid?
Yes, he will, because he's.
You've seen the memes. You've seen the Dictator Mbappe memes.
You know, I find that to be a bit racist to be calling Mbappe a dictator. That's because we know,
How?
That's because, you know, the African continent has had a lot of dictators and, you know, a lot of African former guys have been dictators. Doesn't mean we need to call every black guy that's a bit, you know, heelish a dictator. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say on that one.
I'm giving you a yellow for that. A yellow for being so egregious.
That's true, bro. That's facts.
Egregious.
Like, they probably are calling him because of that, bro. Low key. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
No, it's calling him because, you know, Olivier Giroud retires suddenly after rubbing his head the wrong way.
Bro,
Then all of
Giroud
a
was already
sudden-
old. What are we doing?
Then all of a sudden, Griezmann gets left out of the. No, I don't even remember. I can't stack up all the accusations. Neymar laughed at him. Now Neymar's out of PSG. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. The evidence stacks up against Führer Mbappe. We continue on. So more criticism. Potter even had this to say, and you can kind of look into the interview yourself. Chelsea isn't being run like a football club. It's being run like a business experiment. Fans are ones paying for it. If you change 7 players in every window, the instability of that is hard to deal with. Also, no clear structure at Chelsea. You can watch the high performance interview on your own time, people, but it's there for you to watch, and he has said some things about Chelsea. Also, Sky Cava, his own piece. He actually spoke his mind for once and not what the PR was trying to tell him to do. I think what will really hurt the owners is the fact that the senior player was questioning their strategy and was also questioning really, really controversial decision to let Enzo Maresca leave on New Year's Day. I don't think Chelsea ownership will rethink their strategy. I think they may tweak it a little bit, make a few changes. I think they are aware of the fact, for instance, that a lot of people have criticized them for buying young players and seeming to go down the route of trading players instead of just buying world-class players and putting them straight into the first team. Now, I think they're going to be busy this summer. Do I think they're going to go straight out and forget about the strategy of signing young players? No, I don't. But I would expect them to perhaps sign more experienced players, some ready-made stars. Sky, Cava, I will believe it when I see it. Having said that, I think if you would speak to senior people at Chelsea, they would say to you, look, we have been established players. We have bought established players. For instance, we signed João Pedro, who I think is a 25, nearly 26, I think is 25, nearly 26. So it's not a case that they only sign young players, but obviously every Chelsea fan you speak to will say to look at what we need to stop. We need to stop the strategy of just trading players. We need to go back to what we used to do, which is buy the best players in the world. We need to sign an experienced goalkeeper, and we need to sign experienced center back as well. I think the owners are listening to what fans and ex-players and journalists and now players are saying. I think they are listening. I think players are clearly unhappy about the fact that Enzo Maresca left. There was a breakdown in relations between Enzo Maresca and key people at Chelsea Football Club, but Enzo Maresca overall did a great job. He won 2 trophies last season. The reason he left is because things that were happening behind the scenes. It wasn't to do with specifically exactly what was happening on the pitch and the way the team were playing. If you watch Chelsea over the past couple of weeks, this is a long-ass quote, over the past couple of weeks, you get this feeling that some of the players are not really playing for the head coach. So the question is, are they convinced Liam Sr. or do the players think exactly what a lot of fans think about Liam Sr.? Appointing him was a big risk considering he didn't have the kind of experience that you normally need to manage a big club like Chelsea. If you look at Chelsea's results, in March, they played 7 games. They won 1 game, and that was away at Aston Villa. And now Chelsea believe that Liam Sr. And I know Chelsea believe in Liam Sr. and he will be given the time. But at the end of the day, football is a results business. And if you're not getting results, you will lose your job. That's coming from Sky Cava's own opinion. That's a big one. So, Simon Jordan, this is criticism of Simon Jordan. I thought it was funny because he's the only one coming out in big media saying how great the club are being run. Simon Jordan told me the other day, Begdad Bali was the cleverest man he has ever met. Blimey, even I could lose 260 million pounds. Who couldn't do that? I could waste $500 million without buying a goalkeeper, center back, and a center forward.
You know what's funny about Simon Jordan, actually? Simon Jordan lives next to me, Marshall, by the way. Simon Jordan lives next to me. I know him. Lives next to me, by the way.
Oh boy, that was.
Marshall, I told you, bro. Like, you've been to where I live, bro. Well, look, listen. Half the players live next to me, bro. So it's how we don't be next to me.
Guys, remember when you call me a brown envelope? Just remember.
No.
Who is who's from Ahmed's End? You know what I'm saying?
Oh. Yeah, but you listen, they better be funny enough. I forgot to actually mention it to you when you came over, but yeah.
Hey, next time, so we know where to find the brown envelopes. All right.
No, but I think, listen, what you've said so far, these aren't any new criticisms, man. This is like, it's not anything new right now.
No, but it's hard to get new criticism. It's just all these publications are now coming out and saying it flat out now, all their own opinions on the ownership, which was always out there. But this is a lot. All of this is recent. None of this is, I haven't held this back. This is from April 2nd. This is very recent criticism of the ownership group. So Liam Toomey had this to say in The Athletic. What is it about Chelsea's structure that no coach lasts 18 months? Why did Pochettino and Maresca find it so intolerable? Coaches don't usually walk away. They wait to be sacked. So why couldn't Maresca see out the season? There should be introspection at Chelsea, particularly around recruitment and how to make long-term coaches' roles more viable. Also, in addition to that, this is not the first time concerns have been raised at Chelsea about the need for more experience in the squad. Both Pochettino and Maresca made similar points during their time in charge. Maresca's early exit has also intensified scrutiny around the project, with suggestions that these issues are being felt across the dressing room and leadership group. The Guardian, Jacob Steinberg, had this to say as well. Cole Palmer has had reassurances about Chelsea board. And why has Reece James signed a new deal? The captain must have been impressed when he discussed summer targets with the hierarchy. There are suggestions of a shift in recruitment this summer. The part of the focus on youth stemmed from the desire to reset after money wasted on older players. João Pedro was an established player in the Premier League when he joined from Brighton last summer. Chelsea also considered a top international defender in January. We will see. We will see. Andy Jacobs also had this to say on Talk Sport. I don't believe players are unhappy with Enzo. I think that's a briefing. This is what their ownership and the sporting directors do. They've got their favorite journalists and they brief. When Maresca left, it was all his fault. I've had enough of them. John Terry also. Listen, we'll talk on John Terry more next show.
We cannot, I repeat, we can never talk about John Terry, please. I think if you talk about some of the stuff that's happened with him recently, we will get in trouble. So I think for our own personal sake, your channel's sake, my channel's sake, we can't actually talk about it, please. This is actually me being, I'm actually deadly serious to say this.
People read the comments. Read his criticism on the club. That's all I'll say. We continue on. Chelsea are absolutely hopeless, as the Athletic table shows. Supporters of Liam Senior's side are rock bottom of the Premier League when it comes to current mood. Back in August, Chelsea fans were radiating positivity as world champions. Only 2% of the respondents described themselves as pessimistic. Chelsea are down here. You can't see it because the criticism, but it's 92.4%. How do fans in each Premier League club feel about the rest of the season? Pessimistic. Over 90% of the Chelsea fan base feel pessimistic. They also felt pessimistic last season, but last season was different.
You know where this comes from, Marshall?
What?
My brown envelope.
What do you mean your brown envelope?
You know, the thing that I do other than Chelsea, with Chelsea, that's Chelsea related. So I'm part of this, basically.
So Ahmed is part of the 10% that, the 1% that I think Chelsea is going to be optimistic.
Chill out, bro. I know you ain't talking about that, mate. Alright, chill out, man.
Oh, this is the last one I have here. If Chelsea go with youth again, bigger players may sense continued transition and agitate to leave. If they spend big, senior players will have to be sold to finance this. Either way, they're facing a breakup. Then the project resets to zero, according to Martin Samuel from Time Sport. A lot of criticism towards Chelsea, which, listen, this is what I'm saying, guys. Win, lose, or draw against City, you must be at the protest, because right now, they're feeling it. They are feeling it. They are hearing it from everyone. They know. That's why you're hearing the briefs now that, we might change the direction of the way we do transfers. We might go for the more experienced players. It's all placating, happy time. Like, just give them what they want to hear. Give them what they want to hear. They are trying to, stray away from the criticism. They're trying to lean into, hey, we are going to go for experience. We are going to go for a change in the model. That's what you guys wanted, right? I'll believe it when I see it. But the criticism is rampant, and now is a better time than ever to actually do a protest because they're feeling it. Ahmed, what are your thoughts on everything? I mean, it's nothing new, obviously, but yeah.
The thing is, man, people talk about criticism of Luca being rampant. It's been there for a very long time. I think the problem is, obviously, a lot of people do not like to pay for journalism. £2 fee to the Daily, no, not Daily Mail. Do not pay for the Daily Mail and the Sun. Just rule number one. Just in general and in life. But like the Telegraph or like the what's it called or the Athletic, right? Because if you read their long reads, you will find out there's a lot of criticism in regards to some of the stuff they've been saying for a long time by the journalists, even on their own podcast. Because now you have the Telegraph's got its own podcast. You've got all these other podcasts where they speak freely and give their opinion. So again, this is nothing new. This is nothing surprising to me, right? I just think people just like, the negativity just seems to come out right now when it's been there for the longest time. That's all it is for me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it is also journalists taking advantage of the moment, right? Like, get clicks, get views. Right now,
that isn't true, EPO Turf, man. The $2 is a month, firstly, right? And secondly, it's not what the club wants them to just print out. They will also give their views and opinions, by the way. Like, it's just that people do not want to listen to. I always encourage people to listen to there's like a podcast from the Athletic that's based on Chelsea, Marshall.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's called Straight Out of Cobham. It's called, if I'm not mistaken. Bro, those guys will give you their own opinions, their own thoughts, and it's free.
Oh, the directors are being smart. Well, probably not. Because there's no replacement right now, and they will sack him at the end of the season because I see no bright future with him. The thing is, you guys are gonna think I'm a shill. All right, because this, you know what someone told me in my comment section the other day, Ahmed.
What did they say, Marshall?
They feel that I have this weird agenda against Liam Rossinier. Which, yeah, I could see why you think that, because I call him Arthur, because his football has made us look worse so far. But I've always said that I would be willing to see how he does next season after he has a preseason, because I'm no stranger to the fact that you're coming in mid-season trying to implement tactics when this team has already established a style of play, and that's how they're playing right now, and that you have to undo all that to get to the way you want to play. So I think whether we make Champions League or not, I think Liam's job is safe. All the stuff that you're hearing about, it's all placating to what the public want to hear. Oh, if he doesn't get Champions League, he should be sacked, all this and that, right? I think at the end of the day, he's staying, he's getting a preseason, and then next season we'll see what happens. And maybe the football will get better because he will actually have time to implement his tactics. But my criticism of Rossinier is the inexperienced part. And he's just feeding into it. He's leaning into it. And you don't have to lean into it when you have options, and you can be smarter about how you approach this. But the inexperience plays a factor. And maybe he's not aware of what he can and can't do. But that's essentially where I'm at with Liam. So I don't think he's going to get sacked. And if it works out and his football actually does translate, I don't think it'll be a bright future, but I think we'll look better next season than we do now. Depending on the transfers as well.
I think. Listen, I'm going to be very honest with you. Port Vale is probably going to be our last win. I still am of that.
I agree too.
Yeah. Right, it's going to probably be our last win of the season, and it's probably going to go downhill from here because I just don't see how it gets better from here, bro.
You don't see us beating Leeds?
No, we're not going to probably beat Leeds, and in fact, that's actually. Do you know how much more Vale that is on? That's historic, by the way, Marshall. I don't know if you know that, right?
The rivalry between us and Leeds, yeah.
You know, because it's based on the FA Cup, Marshall.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know it was based on the FA Cup. I don't know that much of this.
It's to do with the FA Cup final. Okay, we played each other to a draw in the final the first time, and then went to a replay, and it was a really bad final. Like we were attacking each other, we were beating the shit out of each other. We managed to win the FA Cup final anyway, and since then there's been blood everywhere since, right? And so this is like a chance for them genuinely, you know, to get revenge and go to actually up to the final, right? So I think for me, there's definitely a bit of that at play. The reason why I just bring up all of that, in my personal opinion, is just to say the block has never been more hot.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, from a Chelsea perspective. Okay? And I just do not see how we make it out of the hood. I hate to say it like this, but how do we make it out of the hood, Marshall, for me?
I don't think we make it out of the hood because I don't think we're going to make Europe unless we win the FA Cup final, which I don't think is going to happen.
Wow.
But I'm not as like pessimistic as you. I do think we are gonna win some games. Like I don't think we're gonna lose against Nottingham Forest later in the season.
We lose to Nottingham Forest.
I don't think Nottingham Forest. No, if anything, like Rosinho's shown that he can actually beat lower side teams to an extent. Leeds gave us trouble, right?
Marshall, I can bet on it. Let's bet on it. I'm willing to bet on it.
£10.
Yeah, that's £10.
£10 that we beat Nottingham Forest,
Yes.
or £10 that was Port Vale's our last victory.
No, just £10 for Nottingham Forest specifically.
All right, £10 on Forest.
That's the
We'll
easy
virtually
one for
shake
both of us,
on it.
right? Yeah, we'll bet.
Don't
You know
gamble,
I'm a man of
Chad.
hard. You know I'm a man of hard, don't worry.
Yeah, you know I am too. So £10 that Chelsea can beat. What if it's a draw? Just
If it's
nullifies.
We just
Yeah, right.
nullify it, cancel each other out.
Yeah,
right?
nullifies it. Yeah. All right, cool. You saw it. I think. Call me a fool, Arthur. Please, against Nottingham Forest.
Sorry,
Against
this is another thing I want to talk to you
who's the
about.
manager? No,
It's Vito Pereira.
Vitor Pereira. Stand down. Vitor Pereira, stand down.
The other thing I want to say, Marshall, I'm not really liking Arthur talk, yeah? And the reason why you don't like Arthur is because he talks a lot, yeah? I'm not a big fan of this brilliant. And I'm going to tell you why.
Of this what?
Of this brilliant that you're giving to this poor guy.
Oh,
Alright?
fuck him, bro.
Wait. And I need you to... Kalma.
We need to bring bullying back.
Okay, I need you to understand us right now. Hear me out why, yeah? Because Marshall, he's obviously going to be a club spokesman. This is his whole job. I don't know why you act like, you know, oh, look at the way he's speaking, yada. He's going to have to do that, bro. That's his job. What do you expect from him, Marshall?
See, the reason I call him Arthur is because I feel like with him, what the hell? Why isn't this thing working? Okay. All of a sudden my StreamYard decided to stop working. That's great.
Hey!
Anyways, the reason I decided to call him Arthur is because, yeah, I can't scroll on my StreamYard. All right, it is what it is. No videos. The reason I'm calling him Arthur is because this guy wants me to believe that with the power of friendship and camaraderie and learning lessons along the way, we can make it to UCL. Brother, I'm sorry. That's not how it works. He's buddy-buddy with all our players and all that stuff. They don't respect him. You know, they shrug him off. What does Arthur do when he gets shrugged off and stuff? He just gets off, dusts himself off, and keeps walking down the street, bro. That's all he is. Like, he's just another NPC. That's just how it feels like. I respected him a lot more during his time at Strasbourg. But now that ever since he's come into Chelsea, he's just an NPC, man. Just like Arthur was. Nothing special about Arthur. He's just a guy. He's just an aardvark. Just like Liam, bro. But yeah, that's just you know, whatever. But I do think we can get some wins, a win or two here. But I'm not optimistic about Europe really. So that's where I stand with that. But the criticism on Blueco has been absolutely rampant, and it's just like what Ahmed was saying. It's always been there, but everyone took an opportunity to really pile on over international break. But you know what? Not only did they pile on and there was criticism, Blueco responded. Blueco responded with their own PR. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. So this is the first one. Chelsea have asked to be kept up to date with the situation of Wharton and could rival Manchester United, Real Madrid, who are understood to have who have him third on their list behind Rodri and Enzo Fernandez, who is eager to leave Chelsea FC, according to this source. More PR here. Chelsea sources insist Maresca was not sacked. There is a belief internally that he effectively engineered his own exit, having held talks with figures linked to Man City over potentially succeeding Pep Guardiola. So eventually, one way of looking into this, right, is they're trying to make you believe that he effectively resigned when he started talking to Man City, which I think is a whole lot of hullabaloo. And a bunch of you guys will believe it. It is what it is. This also came out from Jacob Steinberg, right? In the same article we read earlier. There are suggestions of a shift in the Chelsea recruitment this summer. That part of the focus on youth stemmed from a desire to reset after money wasted on older players. Sources insist there is no definitive policy around signing only raw talent. Really? Really? All right, well, a lot of these older players are on their way out. Let's see if you actually can talk the talk. And what experienced players are you going to get? Because that's the other thing. You could say you're going to get experienced Prem players, but it also depends who. Because you know who else is an experienced Prem player that serves us no use? Luke Shaw. You know who's another experienced Prem player that would probably not fit us whatsoever? I can't think of other names. Help me out here, Ahmed. Kluivert. I don't think Kluivert would help this team at all. He's an experienced Premier League. You see how like they can get away with this whole experienced Premier League player, but also not buy the right experience.
If they try to bring in Patrick Kluivert, man, we need to actually. I need to go there and commit jihad, bro. That's what I need to do.
Experienced Premier League player.
There's no way they can do that to me, bro. There's no way. There's just genuinely no way they can do that, bro.
That's why I will see it when I believe it. Because there can always be the white lie, right? Like, yeah, we bought in experienced players. We bought in Kluivert. We bought in Senesi. We bought in...
Kluivert's not good. Why do you keep bringing him up?
This is an example. We bought in experienced Premier League players. He didn't say they had to be good. They just had to fit the model, the profit. They had to fit the wage bill.
Listen, if they bring him in, man, listen, we got the criminal gun. We will just point it at them and we will make it happen, bro. Listen.
Yeah, Maguire. Maguire's experienced. They might bring in a Maguire. We need experienced center back, right?
We will bring it.
Just bring it.
Listen. Maguire. This is what I have to just press this button again. I'll press this button. Look what it says.
Speaks Japanese. I don't understand what that thing is saying, Ahmed.
You understand that, though?
It's shooting.
That's what you need to understand, innit?
There you go.
Ahmed, I'm worried for your sleep schedule. Don't let Marshall hold you hostage. Blink twice if you need help. There you go.
All right, fine. You don't have to be held hostage. I'm at the end of the show. You can go to sleep if you need to. We all know you have sleep, though.
Firstly, I'm not being harsh. After this, I'm literally going to sleep, generally speaking. I'm going to sleep after this. And I'm going to wake up at 11 p.m. Well, not
I have this and injuries to go to,
hours.
and then I'm done, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so just in, Chelsea will be busy in the summer. The signings are expected to include established players with proven Premier League experience. Chelsea will definitely sign a center back and midfielder, according to Sky Kappa. All right, time will tell. Fabrizio coming out and saying this: Chelsea are now open to adding more players with immediate impact. This will be the addition to young talents. These targets will be players who maybe you don't have to wait 6 months to see an impact. They'd be coming in and straight away making impact. The message from the club is clear. We want to go for trophies. You'll see young talents plus experienced players this summer. Yo, this is ridiculous what they're trying to make us believe. Again, you've lost the trust of a lot of fans this season, Blueco. So you got a lot of work to do if this is really what you're going to say you're going to do. Chelsea are targeting more Premier League proven players ahead of the summer window. The club is expected to be active in the market with a center back and midfielder among the priorities. And then lastly here, Blueco didn't think the club could compete with Man City or Liverpool for established players, so sought to buy emerging talent and develop. Bro. Well, you know what pisses me off about this is, like, you say this, right? Did you even try? Did you even try to go and compete for Mark Gahey? Did you even try to go and compete for Semenyo? No, you didn't. So what the fuck is this bullshit? This is all PR for as far as I'm concerned. You didn't even try. So why even bother saying this? This is their response to all the reaction, all the stuff that's been coming out during the international break. Ahmed, put down the gun or raise it even higher. What are we saying after all this bullshit?
Actually, you need to talk about this because I've said this is probably the reality of the situation beforehand. So I'm much more interested to hear about you, what you have to say on that one, honestly.
About all this response to the PR?
Yeah, because like I already have my thoughts. I think the audience knows my thoughts about this already by this point.
Okay. So I think we do go for Premier League experience. I think we go for experienced players, one or two. I just don't think they're at the caliber that people actually want. I think we go for more Tosins, unfortunately. Like, I could see us potentially going in for, I don't know, just naming names because I don't know what contract situations are like right now. And I don't know who's actually going to be, like, achievable. I do think we go for, like, a Tarkowski, who I don't think is a bad center back, but is he going to take us to win the Prem or close to challenging? No. They said they want to sign an experienced midfielder. Okay, I could see them going for Kluivert. I could see them going for someone mid that's not good enough, but it's technically experienced. Why? Because they're willing to accept incentivized wages. They're willing to accept low wages. So they're going to go for players that are probably going to fit into the model of the wage structure that they want. And it's going to leave us to not so ambitious signings. Now, what they could do to prove me wrong and to actually impress me, okay, if you're going to go for Premier League proven center back, I would be happy if they went for Murillo, for example. I think Murillo would be a great signing for us. I like him as a center back. He might not fit the model. He might not fit the structure that we want. I think we have plenty of center backs that don't fit that anyways. I think you bring in a Murillo, I'm pretty content. Now, midfielder, experienced midfielder, if you bring in a Wharton, if you bring in an Anderson, I mean, who else is there that you could potentially bring in? It's not going to be anyone elite tier. Yeah, I can't even think of, like, off the top of my head. I need to look at a list of names and see what they bring in. But, yeah, those are two midfielders I'd be pretty content if they bring in. Whether they do it or not, time will tell. I don't have faith that we're going to have a good transfer window. I think we will have one or two good options in there that can maybe bring us a little closer to completing the project or the holes that we need to fill in. But more holes will be made as a result of not doing it sooner or not having better recruitment in better areas. I don't think we get a better keeper. I think we get Penders. I do think Omega comes in. He's going to be that striker backup. It's not really optimistic. Then I think we get rid of Cucurella.
I actually don't think Omega comes in, by the way, because after that penalty ACL, I don't know, bro.
Wait,
but a few things.
If we don't get a UCL,
I think the experience in terms of you said Tosin types. I don't think Tarkowski is gonna get signed by this club. He's way too.
It was
old.
just a hypothetical.
I know, but like the reason why I'm using him is because like I think those type of guys are way too old. Tarkowski's. I know you love to talk about Christensen for some reason, right? Christensen incoming, right? So I don't know if it's gonna be those age types now. Maybe like a Senesi, he's 29, right? Turning 30, maybe.
Yeah,
he's someone I can see that happening. Murillo, I just don't see happening because of the financial money you're probably gonna have to pay.
They've been interested for a while though. We've had
Tonali's another one, right? Tonali is another one where if you don't have any Europe, he's not coming. That's what he's basically made that clear, right? So I think this idea of like experience come to Chelsea, I need to know what that is because on a personal level, I have no idea of what that can be.
For all we know, it could be a lie too.
Because for me right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, Marshall. I don't. What is this alleged experience they're gonna be able to bring in? Because I look around the market right now, and I'm not seeing the level of experience that people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
People can hate me for saying that, but that's just objectively right now what the situation is for us right now.
It's not gonna be Tonali. It's not gonna be Bruno G. I just don't think.
I have no idea who it's gonna be generally. Like I don't know what the experience that they're gonna bring in is gonna be, bro. Generally,
that's why the only names I threw out there were the ones we've been linked with in the past.
Like generally, it's probably gonna be what Senesi and maybe Morgan Rogers. That's all I can see basically. I have no idea.
Morgan Rogers, I'm not convinced,
right?
Because the price tag.
But like, I genuinely, Marshall, that's all I can see right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, remember this time last year and previous windows, we've always had like a lot of links this time around. This player, that. This player, that. Bro, we have been relatively quiet. All other than like Elliot Anderson links and Wharton links, and Morgan Rogers from time to time. Chelsea, in terms of transfers, have been relatively quiet this entire
My
season.
big worry right now, and I want to hear what chat thinks about this too. Yeah, my big worry, obviously, is that they're gonna sign guys just like they did last time from the World Cup for like a crazy amount of money, and the rest of it's gonna be kids.
Yeah, the market is filled with dead players.
Because that's what's probably gonna happen in my personal opinion. Genuinely,
I could see it. I could see it. I mean, we're not as gullible as we were back then, but I could still see it happening.
You know what it is? Because like I just look at the market. Yeah, I'm like, I don't see anyone that's available in the market right now, bro.
There's not many that great players available. Like last season was a better market than this season. Even last season was not that great of a market. Kvara was there mid-January. You know, there was options out there. You know, but I mean, there are rumors that obviously we'll entertain in another show, but those are just rumors, and I've not seen anything spark up. Like I have them saved in case for a rainy day, but like I've not seen the rumors grow legs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just rumors. Certain players from Sporting, certain players from other teams, and other stuff. Like just rumors.
The thing also the point at Marshall is that they talk about Prem experience, right? That Prem experience, stuff like that. When I'm hearing Prem experience stuff like that, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so we're trying to sound like a really good quality.
Oh shit! What if we send Ugarte?
Right? So I look at that sort of thing, but I'm like, okay, who is the wingers right now that we can get in the Prem that's gonna have an instant impact? Bar maybe in Ndai,
that's really the only one.
That's pretty much all I can see right now. Unless people are telling me something else. Well, are we gonna buy Kairo Mitoma, 29-year-old Kairo Mitoma, to do something for us? Right? No, but that's the point I'm making, right? I don't know who they're gonna sign.
It could. You know what? You wouldn't be remiss or judged wrongly. I don't know what the word I'm trying to look for is. If you were to look at Brighton and determine maybe someone from Brighton comes to Chelsea. That's probably a good lead.
The thing is, Brighton's never had a good season.
No, they're not. Like we both know who's there. Minte. Minte's gonna go at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if Minte.
The problem with Minte is gonna be the same problem. What's it called? I'm gonna say this right now. You need to look at Minte like we're looking at Gittins in the sense that great, he's gonna get you to the end, but then when he gets to the end, he's gonna fuck you up, bro. So what's the point? Dango Ouattara ain't coming to this club, bro. I'm just gonna be real. He seems like a good player, but he ain't coming in. I know Epo Turf is saying like West Ham, Leeds. Who is in Leeds right now that's a good winger? I don't know, because we need to look at. That's what we need to start looking at.
No, that's West Ham.
Like West Ham, some of it was West Ham, like West Ham, but he's barely played.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's looking rough. Not even rough. It's just looking like where there's not really many good players out there. That's really it. Like it's just, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm just saying the news as I read it, but like I'll believe it when I see it because I genuinely don't think we're gonna have a good summer window. I think we might have one good one, like a João Pedro kind of signing, maybe. Like João Pedro was the one good one from
Kevin
the last
Sade
window.
is a good shout, but again, Kevin Sade again.
Yeah, Sade is a good
million.
shout. Yeah,
But again,
we could look
I
at
don't see
Brentford
that.
again.
I just don't think that's gonna happen.
Krupi Jr. That's a shout.
Krupi
I mean,
Jr.
we
is
kind
the
of
only
tried
one
to sign
that
him already, but
like I was generally. But I was thinking about this, yeah. Ryan from like Bournemouth might be one that we would probably go for, by the way. You know, he's a Brazilian guy, right? But like again, that he's gonna cost way too much money. There's no way that's gonna happen. This is why low key, I'm gonna be honest with you, low key, we might just be stuck with having Quenda and Gittins on one side, and you might have to actually be forced to keep Neto next season, you know, because I think the quality class of wingers right now that's available for you to get ain't there, bro.
I don't think Neto stays. I think Neto goes. I think Neto gets sold.
Matthias Mane is the equivalent of having Estevao play for you, bro.
Oh, that's a good point too, Jeremy. Nice. Mane, he's another one that's been
No, but the Matthias Mane is like having Estevao play for you. Great player, he has great moments, but he also loses the ball. And again, another young player, and we're getting told Prem proven.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Prem proven, the experienced Premier League player. Don't get lost because they're saying that. That could be anyone. It doesn't have to be good experience. It doesn't have to be great experience. Like, just be careful when they say that. Like, again, for me, it's the status quo. It's business as usual. Operations going as normal. If they actually do it, we'll see what experience they get. I hope it's someone like Murillo. I hope it's someone of like Andy Anderson or Wharton. I hope it's these experienced players. But fuck, man, they were once in. Now the thought crept into my head, and I'm scared. They were once in for Ugarte, and Ugarte is probably leaving United at the end of the season. He's prime experience technically, so God, please, Easter Sunday. Please, I hope that we don't get Ugarte. I hope we don't get bad players, but you never know with these guys. But yeah, last segment, people, and then we're going to call it a show. Another 3.5 hour show because a lot happened during international break. But big up to every single one of you. Smash up the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, all right? Here's where we're going to close it out. Injury roundup. Yep, we got some injury news, some injury updates for everyone. Let's see what's going on around Chelsea, around Blueco, and all that fun stuff when it comes to injuries. So let's start off with this first one. Manuel Omega and Aaron Encilmino have returned to Strasbourg training as of March 30th, according to Cyril Olives. So these players back in. We'll see how long they stay fit for. If they stay fit for the rest of the season, that's a plus for us because these players are probably going to be part of Chelsea next season. We'll see. We continue on. Quenda, which we've mentioned multiple times, has been rehabilitating at the Cobham facilities, Chelsea's facilities, is now on his way back to Portugal for Sporting. Quenda traveled back to Portugal over the weekend after spending last few months recovering at Cobham, soon to be Chelsea player winger, close to long-awaited return, and is hoping to be available for Sporting UCL tie versus Arsenal. We'll be watching Quenda, and Quenda, please, this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to mud Arsenal, and we hope you do it. Giovanni Quenda has been in CFC training base. Yeah, I read the same thing. More on Quenda. Quenda's returned to Portugal today after completing his injury rehab in London. Looks like he'll be available to play Arsenal in the UCL. Levi Colwell has also returned to full training. Esteval and Gittins are also back as of the 3rd of April. More news on that, actually. Levi Colwell could make his long-awaited return April 10th for Chelsea's U21 game versus Fulham. So, April 10th, guys, mark it on your calendar. That's a Friday. This next Friday, Levi Colwell will be returning and playing in U21 games. So, hopefully, hoping for the best in his recovery as well. Liam Sr. also update on Reece James' injury, because don't forget, guys, Reece James is currently injured. Reece is getting along really well, but not ready yet. Trev is progressing well as well. Levi is back in full training. Esteval and Gittins are back. And then Bumba. This is bad. This is a damning situation for the kid. But yeah, Gittins, another hamstring injury. Jimmy Bino picked up a fresh hamstring injury in training Friday. Now he's set to go for a scan. Unfortunate for Gittins. He's missing the rest of the season. It's safe to say. So
I just want to say, man, thank you, EPOTF, for continuing to bring up the Sarsi and Marshall just to skip in the Sarsi comment. But you know what, man? It's all good, man.
Hey, listen. Where's the Sarsi right now? That's what I thought.
Don't worry, man.
And I can't. Oh, I can play my clips again. No, I can't. Never mind.
Just remember, Marshall. Yeah. When the Sarsi gets sold for a profit, and your boy Toshin don't, we're gonna have conversations in it.
What happened when you invite girls in your place? Do you get a takeaway? You get a non-door?
Just know, Marshall.
Anyways, yeah. So the Sassi value going down because he gets eliminated from the FA Cup. But yeah, people. Injury roundup. Jamie picks up another injury, which is a damn shame. Very unfortunate for him. But hopefully we see Reece and Trev back soon. We need the depth, obviously. Malo Gusto hasn't been bad, but it's just one game. We're waiting for that one game where Malo Gusto unfortunately costs us something. Right, Ahmed?
What?
And then, yeah, Levi Cole also back in training. But yeah, any injuries there you want to discuss, Ahmed, or should I wrap it up?
They might. I hope they don't rush Levi Cole back just to try to salvage Europe.
I really hope so. There's no way, man. There's nothing listen, I like Levi as much as the next guy, but I'm not trying to rush him back just to try to save the season. The season's done. Just admit it. The season's done. Now, listen, if by some miracle guys, I'm saying it. It's a miracle, okay? Don't call me deluded. Don't call me a positivity merchant. Don't call me delusional, okay? I'm saying by some miracle, if we beat City and we beat United, which is crazy, but by some miracle, if it happens, then yeah, maybe bringing Levi Colwill to shore up, like, you know, the last 1 or 2 results that we have left. Sure. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not risking it for this. I really won't. So let Levi Cole recover. Let Levi Cole rehabilitate. And Somino and Omega being back in training as well. Please, you guys also need to stay fit. And Somino, you especially, because if you're as good as people have been saying, then I need you available next season because we need as many good players as possible. I need people to step up. I need people to stop living up to the hype, or start living up to the hype, I should say, and stop, you know, being part of a problem. How about that? That's all I got to say. So yeah, that's it for me. Ahmed, anything else before I wrap it up?
Shout out to Disasi, firstly. Secondly, you know, enjoy this week, man. Enjoy this week of European football. Enjoy this week of Europa League, Conference League football. Just enjoy this week because Sunday, some people are gonna get brought back to reality again, and just tune in. Just really just tune in, watch the game, enjoy yourselves. I will be buying a few more new figurines and toys this week. Can't wait. This Sunday, actually, in particular, I'm gonna be actively investing. I'm going to a Sunday market on Sunday to actually buy some stuff. Firstly, shout out to the man over there too. I'm gonna be buying some new furniture.
Okay, we'll see what kind of furniture it is. But yeah, big up to every single one of you. Like Ahmed said, enjoy the football this week. We'll be back again, obviously tomorrow, American Waffle. So tune into Staffy TV for that, Easter Monday. I'll be there. Also, Wednesday, I don't know what show. I think we're going to have a Chelsea Hour show. I still think there's... you know what? I'll wait for the Chelsea Hour because I'm going to have to fight with chat. I already know I'm fighting with chat with a few people. Where's the... Oh, the raid message is there. That's why I put that there, guys. Yeah, raid message because we're going to raid out to Sarcasm City TV gaming right now. So be sure to, you know, copy and paste the red message. Let Flawless know where you're coming from. But yeah, in terms of content on the channel, Wednesday we'll be back. Maybe a pre-release somewhere in there. I won't be available Saturday, so this will be a weird week to have Casually Chelsea show. Actually, I might have a Casually Chelsea show Saturday. We'll see. I don't think I will have time because I have a gig. But yeah, just stay tuned.
Enjoy your gig, man. Enjoy your gig, bro.
I might.
There's no Chelsea topic for you by Saturday, I promise you.
Okay, let's hope your promises are fulfilled. But yeah, people, we're only 75 away from 4K. So if you can just start subscribing and keep subscribing, spread the channel, share, all that fun stuff helps out tremendously. Like the video, because again, that helps out the YouTube algorithm tremendously as well. Become a membership, because guys, being a membership here is pretty cool. Don't forget, we also have a Discord, so join the Discord community. Membership starts at 99p, so you can get some cool emojis and all that stuff at the 99p tier. And if you are a proper casual and higher tier member, I'm going to pull up the names. It's the usual suspects, but hey, let's call them out anyways. Let's be accurate. In case also too, more members have joined, because sometimes I get memberships offline. It doesn't tell me. But yeah, big up to Lanre Sadiq, big up to A. Solomon, big up to EE and Adrian, our proper casual and higher tier members. Big up to all the members in general. Let's raid out to Flawless. And yeah, we'll see you guys again next time. As always, stay casual and...
Good night, guys. Pajita and sleep.
Jerk off?
Oh, but he didn't sleep. Yeah, and sleep.